You know what? I have a story.
Okay, sure. Since you have something right off the bat, I'm going to let you go first.
My story is called I Didn't Give You Permission. I feel like you know what that story is.
I think so.
Okay. Carter?
Okay, my story is he gave me permission.
All right. So, Vinc, Vinc, you go ahead and kick it off.
This is a story that we lovingly refer to as the Futon Story. So, Carter and I were roommates last year, and we were sophomores, and it was tumultuous. I'm not an easy person to live with because I have misophonia. That makes me an irritable son of a bitch. And you've listened to the podcast. You know what Carter's like. But
yeah, you do. This is the 5th episode, baby. They know my life story. They know like how long my fingernails are. They know like how my breath smells and stuff.
Your breast?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Dude, Carter's titties stank.
Yeah, I got a distinct smell in my breast.
Yeah, that must have made it hard to live with him.
Yeah, that was a big one. One thing that was a big fiasco was we had a futon in the center of our room. We divided the room kind of into halves. One half was for the beds and desks and things. The other half was for social gatherings and things. And there was this little futon with a bunch of chairs around in front of a big TV, and we'd do stuff there. And that was fun. But this futon became the source of a lot of discourse as the year went on. I was firmly in camp, this thing is cursed, and Carter was firmly in camp, this thing is a God-given gift, and I'd rather throw my firstborn out a window than give it up. So, the first one had the depression, right? Or is that the second one?
Well,
I guess
all of them had depression.
Yeah,
I
to an
believe.
extent, they were all fucked.
Also, the thing is that the first futon, I did find outside, so that was...
Yeah, you found it outside, and you brought it in, and you're like, look, a futon! And me, being an ignorant little fuck, was like, oh, a futon! You know, we were all hyped about that. It was quick before we noticed, like, this thing isn't perfect. It's really hard on your ass. Like, it's clear just a wood base underneath the fabric. Mm-hmm. There's a bit of a depression on, like, the rightmost cushion, so if you sit in it, you kind of sink in a little bit. And it's a little rickety. But, you know, it's a college dorm. Who really cares? You know, I was like, it's not a huge deal. Like, it's not perfect, and, you know, I'll always pick the chair over the futon if I have a choice. But, you know, it's cool to have. I'm not underselling my villainy in this story. I'll get to that later. But Carter's like, I don't like it. And you know what I do like? A couple of floors down in this giant res hall, in the den of a different floor, there's a different futon. And Carter's ingenious plan was to trade it, right?
Well, yeah, this futon, I forget, did we break it?
Yeah, because the first one was a 3-seater, second one was a 2-seater.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're
that
like...
2-seater was really comfy.
It's really good, we'll get to it. But this was like a fiasco for about, I think it was like the first 5 months. This futon is slowly but surely, like, you know, fraying and cracking, and the depression's getting deeper and deeper, which is probably a good sign.
I sat down and, like, the middle, like, bars that connected the bottom just came out, and I was like...
Yeah, the support bar is dislodged, so if you sat on the futon, your ass was a full foot into the fabric.
Yeah, you just sunk into it. It was, I was like, I can't
like
sit here.
If you've ever, like, gone to the bathroom at night and then sat down on the toilet but forgot to put the seat down, you just fall in the bowl.
Why would... Oh, the seat. Okay, I thought you...
Do you not lift the seat up as you piss?
I was thinking of the lid. I was like, how?
No, you just fall in the bowl and your ass gets wet.
No, I never did that, but I did, like, get my leg stuck in the toilet once. Anyway.
We'll get to that, I guess.
Please continue.
But, yeah, so this thing is just falling apart, and we're getting progressively more and more irritated, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just suck it up and deal with it. But Carter is not one to take things sitting down. He is a proactive, strong, independent woman, goddammit, and he will do whatever it takes. One night I'm just sitting at a desk. I'm actually recording a video, I think. Carter had gone out drinking with a friend.
First time I was ever actually drunk, by the way. Like, hey, you should come over. And we got drunk. We had a ton of tequila. Did we have whiskey? I think we had whiskey or something.
You mixed drinks, that's why.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, we didn't mix them, but they were separate drinks. But yeah, there was mixed drinks in my belly.
Stick with beer in the clear, beer and liquor, never sicker.
Well, I don't like beer, so... Smash Bros. We watched a movie, passed out, I walked home.
And it's about there where our accounts start to diverge a little bit, I think. Because you walk in and you said you walked in, sat down, and then pretty quickly after that you decide, you know what? I'm going to go on an adventure. As the person who was sober, that is not what happened.
Dude, I went on an adventure.
I heard the door jostling back and forth. Someone tried to fit the key in it for like way too long. I hear like the unlock, and I hear just a boom as he kicks the door open lazily, and it just kind of like slowly creaks open, and he just like shuffles in. His head's dulled over at like a 3 o'clock, and he just sits on the futon just panting like. And that goes on for about 30 minutes.
Dude, it took a lot out of me to like walk all the way from
I'm not discounting the effort you took. You just said that you were up and at him all chipper. And that's not accurate.
I was chipper.
No, you were fucking not.
I was pretty happy with myself. I don't know.
It seemed like you were having a heart attack, but anyway.
I might have been having a heart attack.
Eventually, you cut through the silence, and you're like, you think I should go get that futon from downstairs? And I was like, what? Say that again to my face. And you're like, do I have permission to get the futon from downstairs? And I was like, no, you do not. That is stupid. And you've been on about this for months at that point. Like, I am going to get this thing traded out for their futon.
What's a better futon?
Yeah, so if it's an objectively better futon, why would they take your shitty one with no support bar at the bottom?
Because they don't care about said futon. That was just there because, it's a seat. So, hey, they probably don't care that I switch it.
Okay, so I say no, and Carter's like, okay. And then I've decided I've had enough of his bullshit, so I pop in earbuds, blast Soundgarden, and stare at whatever I was doing, pretending that the back half of the room is not fucking there. And eventually, after 15 minutes, I look back, and there's one less futon in the center of our room. And I was just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, this guy. And at 45 minutes after, I looked away from the first time, so like 30 minutes after that, I hear a scraping coming from outside in the dead between songs. And I just take an earbud out, I turn around lazily like, you gotta be fucking, and I just see him slowly but surely lug this fucking thing in our room. He made the trade at like 2:30 in the morning.
I got a motivation. It was good.
Yeah, you tend to renovate whenever you get wasted.
I have like stages of like drunk.
But it's like a correlation with you. Like this room has changed orientations twice, and both times after a bender.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. So like, if I drink a little bit of alcohol, I like feel really tired and I really need to go to bed.
Yeah, like lethargic.
Yeah, like after that, I feel happy, and if I drink too much, then I feel motivated to like move shit around.
It's just strange compulsion,
I think I get that from my mom. I don't know.
Okay, well, wherever it comes from, he's hauling this thing in, and you'd think a nice person would go out there and help him, because he's clearly had to lug this thing up 3 flights of stairs, but I'm not gonna fucking help with his shenanigans, because, as I said in the last episode, they punish by the room there. So if anyone's ever like, hey, that's not the right fucking futon, where'd it go? I would have also gotten expelled. So that's his fucking problem and his problem alone. And when he finally brings this thing in and plops down on it,
That's when I was breathing heavily.
No, you both times.
Oh, was it both times?
Yeah, it was both times.
I don't remember
But
that.
yeah, he does that, and I'm like looking at him open mouthed, like slack-jawed, and he's like, now before you say anything, I did ask for permission. And I'm like, you didn't fucking get it! Yes, you asked, but I said no. But I asked for permission. Like, that's what you said.
This story is very different from how I interpret it.
You were blackout wasted. Don't fucking give me.
Blackout. I remember some stuff. How I remember it was I was walking to my room. I sat on the old futon. I was like, this is kind of comfy. I turned to you and I'm like, hey, Aiden, can I trade the futon downstairs? What I remember is that you had your earbuds in before that and you didn't hear me.
So I've been saying, please don't do that for months, and then the one time I don't respond, you're like, oh, so he probably doesn't mind then.
Oh yeah, you probably didn't care, and I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I hauled it downstairs, like 2 flights of stairs. We were on the 3rd floor. The other futon was on the 1st floor. Nobody saw me. I think one person might have, and like I was like, whatever. But yeah, I traded it out. I placed the old futon where the new futon was. I looked at the new futon. I was like, oh shit, it's like kind of broken, but I've already made the effort to fucking put the old futon down here. I might as well trade it.
That was the thing, right? That was like the one thing I took solace in, was like, well, at least apparently it's a better futon. That didn't fucking last. That thing was a piece of shit. That thing lasted maybe a week until we were all playing games together one day. I think it was actually Skywire VIP off Nitro. I remember this very clearly. We were all playing. I remember that's how fucking clear this memory is. We were all playing it. We're getting super hyped about a fucking "who's this a picture of" game. And Carter gets up, pointing at the thing, like, "Oh, that's fucking Keanu Reeves!" And then he sits down, and then just absolute power of that man's ass fucking shatters all 4 legs of the futon. It just goes down in a heap, along with everybody on it. It's just the base and the back, and without the legs keeping it steady, all of a sudden it's back heavy. So the thing falls over backwards and then continues to like orbit, so everyone's feet's in the air and they'll get concussions on the fucking floor. We kept that thing for another month.
Well, yeah.
Everybody except Carter was, and I will apologize for being so coarse about this, but everybody except Carter was like, "Get rid of it. You can't lean back on it." And all the wooden planks on the bottom are busted, and it's leaving like wood chips all over your favorite carpet.
Yeah, well, the carpet was fucked, but we didn't have a seat in front of the television. What were we
There were
gonna do?
plenty of chairs, and like everybody who we invite over lived within 10 feet. They could have brought their chairs over if they wanted them so bad.
Yes, I don't know.
There was also a beanbag chair. There were 4 chairs in that room plus the beanbag chair. You bought a second beanbag at one point, right?
Did I? I
I thought you bought a second one.
You bought a dog bed.
Oh, that's
the
right.
dog bed. Yeah, dog bed.
I will vouch for that. That thing
The
was
dog
pretty
bed was
nice.
actually
That was
cool.
yeah.
I was a non-believer for a little while.
That's another good story.
I was wrong about that.
I slept on that once, didn't I?
Yeah.
And a dog bed.
Where is that? Do you still have that?
No.
What happened?
Well, I don't have a dog.
You didn't know a
That
dog bed?
didn't stop you before.
No, what the hell?
Regardless, back to the futon. Okay, so the futon, after about a month of like being diametrically opposed about this thing, Carter finally caved and got rid of it. And it was in that moment that I realized how much of an ass I'd been, because I'd declared war on this fucking thing. And it didn't deserve it. The intentions were pure. Up until the switch, my thoughts had been, the futon is fine the way, even if it is a piece of shit. So that turn didn't come out of nowhere from his perspective, because, you know, the inflection point in that story was while he was blackout drunk. So, yeah, that's the futon story. I tell that to anybody who is willing to listen, because the fact that you had the gall to go, "I asked for permission," is like
I don't remember
some of the most blind rage I have ever been in. It was a video with a time lapse. Ken confirmed it was 45 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, it was one of the Marble Run builds.
Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah, I went up there. I put the futon there, and like I sat down, and what I remember is Aiden turning. He's like, "What the heck happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I got the futon." You like rolled your eyes at me, and then went back to your video. And I was just breathing heavily, and then soon enough, I just went to bed. That's what I remember. I don't remember being like, "I asked for permission." I don't remember that. I remember us like communicating.
Well, this was like when I saw that thing in the room after so many months of me being like, "I don't fucking care what you do as long as it's not that." I saw you do that, and I was like, you know what? Take a deep breath.
The deed has been done.
My hobbies make me happy. I'm gonna turn around, put my music back in, and pretend he's not there. And that's exactly what I did. Getting tightness in the chest right now just thinking about it.
Hey,
Sorry for taking 20 minutes to tell that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Nate. Anyway, what's good about alcohol?
So before I get into the crux of my argument, I'd like to say I am not vouching for the taste of alcohol. That shit fucking tastes like whale cum.
I don't drink alcohol because it tastes good. I just drink it because it makes me feel
It's a means to an end.
Yeah, that shit is nasty. But anyway, let's talk about social Darwinism. So
right.
we have evolved past a point where...
Let's be on the test.
Yes.
Past a point where wildlife is generally an issue in modern society. We don't have to think about survival all that often. Of course, we gotta have food and water, but we don't have to be worried about whatever fucking horrifying predators out there stalking us. Like, we're past that. It's not your argument.
No! Let the man speak. Let the man tell me how to use drugs.
So, we have houses. And...
Go God, Nate's drunk. No wonder why he's here.
You managed to corral the floor back for all of 2 seconds.
Let Nate speak. All right.
So
Everybody shut up!
even a pussy like yours truly can survive in this day and age. The real danger that we test ourselves with is not in the environment, but in alcohol.
It's the next frontier.
Yes, alpha males will be like,
Oh, I have huge pecs and people are gonna want me to pass on my genes.
okay, first of all, no, because this stereotypical alpha male that I just made up as a straw man is a heavy social drinker, because that's what's cool. So let's skip ahead 8 years. He's fucking dead. And you know why he's fucking dead? Because he got wasted and then he thought he could fight the fucking cassowary that's locked up in Jonathan's house. Alcohol will make the stupid do stupid things.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And thus
You lost me like 3 minutes ago.
and thus these toxic people are weeded out and we don't have to fucking deal with them. And the people that are worth hanging around are not stupid enough to get so wasted.
Your argument for alcohol is population control.
So I think it is obvious.
Oh my god, I got a cramp.
Nate, your argument is that alcohol is bad, therefore we can control the population.
No. Alcohol is good because it kills assholes. I would like to say, just in case, if there are any alcoholics watching this, I don't hate you, but I want this point.
You will be the martyr for this point. So what do you think, Carter? Will you let those alcoholics die on Nate's cross? That's what you have to decide.
Alright, cool.
You gave us...
Fuck.
This podcast is the best choice we ever made.
So I live in a dorm room, and they don't. I'm starting to realize that they're the smart ones. Because, when you go to brush your teeth at 2 a.m., you never know what you're going to get. And in my case, brushing my teeth, and I'm just, staring at the mirror, looking back at myself, thinking, God, who invited you? And door opens after someone, fiddles with the key to open it for, way longer than makes sense. So I'm thinking this guy's probably inebriated or something like that. But no, there's nothing wrong with this man. This man's body works incredibly well, as I found out. This guy walks in, and he's, just fucking covered in hair.
Is he dressed?
In a way. In a way. He's got, it's not even a loincloth. It's he's wearing basically a hand towel around his waist. And that's it. If it were a skirt and on a girl, you could see clit. That's how short this fucker is. But the thing is, he didn't have a clit. This man had a fucking hammer. Dick down to his kneecaps.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. And this guy just sauntered in the shower behind me, locked the door behind him, realized he'd forgotten his toiletries, and then walked back out. And I didn't do mouthwash. I just fucking spit my toothpaste out and didn't wait for that guy to come back. So now my breath smelled bad. And that's my story.
Maybe it melted off of him because of all his warm ass hair.
That's possible. I don't know.
Yes, thank you for that. So now, would you like to tell your story?
What was your story called again?
I was given permission.
I was given permission. Oh,
Yeah,
I think
you
I
know
know
the
where this is
first-
going.
Okay, so to leave some context from the previous story, we were roommates for sophomore year. And for freshman year, I was by myself and had a room with probably a horrible roommate.
He wasn't a big fan of clothes.
Yeah.
He would just sit in his his little chair, full on crotch spread up against his desk,
His little chair.
junk just hanging out watching The Simpsons. And that was that guy's life.
That was perfect, because that's what the story is going to be about.
What?
Is it?
Ian has figured out that I usually go to bed with just my underwear on. You guys figured out, oh shit, Carter sleeps with no shirt and no pants on, which is very, relaxing, because, you got... Well, usually what I do is sleep with a fan on me, so I don't know.
No, I understand. The way you said it, it sounded like us knowing about you being shirtless was relaxing to you.
Yes. I mean, in a way, yeah, it was, because, like, if you guys weren't okay with it, I would have been like, well, fuck.
Oh yeah, no, live your life, King.
Anyway, Aiden gave me permission. That's what happened.
What?
You're not gonna talk about the stripping part of that story?
Oh, okay, fine. I'll insert the magic mic moment. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Hey, you were up in your bed with looking down at us on the floor playing Sudoku. This is post-Futon, by the way. We were sitting on the floor.
Yeah, you guys were sitting on the floor, and, like, I think I just got back from work. I think it was, like, 1 o'clock.
It was pretty late.
Yeah, you were trying to fall asleep, for sure.
I think I woke up a little bit. I was, like, half asleep. Aiden was all like, dude, you can strip if you want.
No, you said that!
What? No?
I said that.
You said that?
You said that?
I gave you permission to strip because everyone was gone.
Cool. Anyway, I lost this challenge. Nate, what's the next...
What?
What?
I said that.
Did you say that?
That was me.
I thought that was Aiden.
I did not say it.
You said that.
It was me.
That's why it was really funny, because it was you.
No, you went up to bed, you were shirtless, and you had jeans on, and then, right? Yeah, because what prompted this was you took off your pants and then just lazily threw them off the bed and they hit me in the face.
Oh, that's right.
That was a different scenario.
That was the same scenario.
No, that was not. No.
That's what made it funny.
No, I remember climbing up my bed. You were like, oh, you can strip if you want. And then I just burst out laughing.
I did not say that.
You must have been not looking because I definitely said that.
You do not sound like Aiden.
Okay, maybe it wasn't you, but it definitely wasn't me.
Maybe you were sleep deprived because I know it was me. I remember saying it.
I swear I'm not gaslighting you.
Dude,
Yeah. What?
I think you're gaslighting me.
I'm not gaslighting you.
How did this turn into a debate? I didn't know this was like a point of contention.
Okay, well, point being, I got a face full of Carter crotch, and then retroactively somebody gave him permission to strip if he wanted to. And that's the crux of it.
I remember Aiden being like, you can strip if you want.
Well, we were quoting it over and over again after it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
We all said it at
I
one
remember
point.
you saying it, and then you were laughing at it as well.
Yeah, I was laughing really hard.
Yeah, you guys were like, what the fuck are you laughing at? And it was like, you gave me permission to strip.
Oh my god.
That was a good night.
Assuming you all have a sister, your sister is hogging... Shut up!
Wait, what?
God damn, your sister is hogging the video game.
Oh.
What do you do?
I thought you were going to say your sister is hot. What do you do?
That will be the next one.
I sure hope not. Huh. Okay, I latched onto your diction when you gave this prompt. Hogging. So, I will assume that I have not been privy to the context in this moment, and I will have a revelation as soon as I am presented with this circumstance. And I realize that my life has actually been characterized by the plot of Spirited Away, Hayao Miyazaki's seminal masterpiece from 2001. In this movie, we find out that there is a mystical paved tunnel, which, when gone through, causes a myriad of inexplicable, monstrous events, not the least of which is your beloved family becoming hogs, hence hogging. So I just fucking walk back to work through that tunnel, and then she's not doing it anymore. I mean, it's a simple fix. I don't know what...
Simple fix, you just find a tunnel somewhere in Japan, maybe. I don't know.
It could be here. There's an English dub.
If it's an English dub, that means the locations change. Nate, what about you?
Okay, so because we're making stupid solutions for stupid problems, I don't want to assume too much, but just contextually, we can assume that our sister in this scenario is stupid.
Okay.
Dumbass.
What I'm seeing is my beloved sister is playing FIFA on the Switch.
Yeah, what a stupid idiot.
So when someone scores a goal in FIFA, there's like a replay function, and because she's stupid, she doesn't know that she can skip it. So while she's watching the replay of this epic goal, I sneak into the room, I go to the DVD player and pop in a copy of The Ring. Like, I change the source and everything. I do this very fast as well.
Yeah.
The Ring comes on, fucking Sadako comes out, and she's like... And then, like, I don't know, she kills my sister or whatever. And then I get back to playing Skylanders.
Yes.
Yes, you know.
I thought part of the problem was FIFA, but apparently not.
We're moving on to the big man games.
Yeah. E10 Plus, this game has alcohol references in it.
Yeah, come on.
Alright, you guys should argue because I can't make up my mind.
What did I say?
Yeah, what did he say? Does anyone even know?
it was Spirited Away. That's right.
Right. You walk through the tunnel and turn her into a hog.
Turned her back from a hog.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, I think that just by being excited about Skylanders, this guy's automatically wrong. I feel like that's only fair.
Well, we can assume, based on context, that in this scenario, we are stupid.
I mean, sure. I'm just thinking that if you're stupid, how can you switch HDMI 2 to HDMI 1? That's kind of complicated.
Ooh, he's got a point.
How's he going to find the tunnel? Even if it's, like, close by, because we're living in the English dub, he's going to need to follow directions.
I may be stupid, but goddamn, I'm patient.
He's got a point.
I mean, there's only so many buttons on a TV.
There's only so many tunnels.
Alright, so I gotta choose. Is there more buttons in the world or are there more tunnels?
I could also truncate mine and just, like, shoot her. I don't need someone else to do it for me.
Is that gonna be your new one? Your new solution is to just shoot her?
I mean, I could shoot my sister too. I'm cool. I'm hip.
Okay.
We can just shoot everybody. Fuck it.
But she's still a hog, then.
Hogging is a current tense verb. If she's dead, she is past tense.
But you didn't turn her back from a hog. The problem is that she's hogging. So if you don't remove her hogality, then you didn't solve the problem.
I feel like you're being very Hoggacious right now, and I feel very hog-tacked.
Let's go!
Here, you know what? I'll go a golden example right now. Could you give me a topic, boys?
Eagle. That's a good topic.
Okay.
Eagle.
All right. Here I go. When I rap, I want to tell you all about my favorite words. And one of my favorite words is one of my favorite birds. One of my favorite birds, the mighty eagle. That's not an Angry Birds reference, you fucking pee hole.
That's not enough.
I want to go out to the store to buy some chicken, but not the breaded kind, or that'll really thicken me, baby. You know what I mean? That's all that I seen. No naked chicken breast at the store that I can make in my own oven. Damn it. I'm gonna slam it on you, right on your head. You're gonna be dead. Fuck you. Eat poo.
What does that have to do?
You mentioned an eagle at one point. Man. when I think uninterrupted flow state, fuck you, eat poo.
So my favorite bird's the eagle. He is not a beagle. I can't even teagle.
That was perfect.
The toughest guy in Hollywood is Steven Seagal.
I think I'm about to win. Here we go.
Yeah, Carter, unleash the fucking beast.
Carter,
yeah, just go off.
hit us.
I don't like to hit you, man. Now there's a pressure on me, and I feel really weird.
Make it
The
hurt.
pressure's been on you. You've been falling behind steadily as the game is going on.
This is a
I
safe
just feel
space.
very anxious. I don't feel with the flow
This
because
is a
people
safe space.
stare at me.
Go at your own pace. Yo, I'll lead you in.
I just want to listen to this in all honesty.
You piece of shit. Why aren't you doing it, you piece of shit?
I wanted to see how long this was going to go. This was actually really...
It was gonna go until you said something.
I didn't know. I was like...
We said we'd lead you in. One part of that was
I didn't know
unclear.
what that meant. Okay, cool.
Just let it all out.
You know what? If you need time to think, I can tell a thing that I was going to reserve for 10 minutes of small talk.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Okay.
You think, you cook.
Yeah, we'll close this off with his big bombastic
I'll
return.
take and I look.
Okay, let's not use it all up yet.
Yeah.
I'm already rhyming, man. It's fine.
The second I give you an opportunity, you're like, oh, now. Okay, go then.
No, now the pressure's on me.
All right.
The pressure is going to be on you at crunch time. There's
Okay.
no avoiding that.
I can't rhyme when people are staring at me and wanting me to rhyme. It's weird.
Okay.
Okay, you know what?
No. Now if you stare away, now it's bad.
You know what? We're not going to look at you. Go.
No.
It's cool. You tell your story. I'll give you the signal when to not look and also for him to go. And you both will know what it is.
Okay. There is such distinct deceit about the room to which I'm beat. to those animals that bleat. Nate likes feet. Nate likes feet. Nate likes feet.
I like that one. I think Aiden should get the win.
I think Aiden's score was pretty generous, actually.
Earlier today, I was going about campus as one does when they are on campus. Shockingly.
Yeah, wow.
And
that was one hell of a day you had.
I was walking, and there's like that big field in front of the dorms, right?
Yes.
And in it, there were like a huge conglomeration of people. Just so many people. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I went back to this desk they had set up, and I was going to ask like, hey, what's going on here? But the person's like,
hey, free shit, you want?
I'm like, okay. Pump the brakes on that. What is going on, and why does it smell like dog shit over here? The person's like,
Yeah, there's goats.
I'm like, come again?
Yeah, there's goats.
And I look over, and sure enough, in between all the legs of this just tight mass of people, just a bunch of miniature goats. Like 30 of them. They were everywhere. And I was like, oh, I want to pet a goat. And so I asked, like, do I have to pay to pet a goat? And she's like,
no, just jump over the fence.
and I'm like, okay. And so I jumped over the fence and I started petting a goat, and I got maybe 3 seconds in it before the guy who owned the goat was like,
All right, we're gonna pack it up now. You have to go.
so. So I got to pet a goat. I got a picture with one, and it was really cute.
Yeah, baby goats are something else.
We have turned around, if that wasn't clear on the audio.
You have turned around, and now I am staring at the mic. I really wish that I could get on my bike. You know, I wish I was a little tight, because I wouldn't be able to rhyme all the time. Because you know, I'm such a sly guy, and Nate is a fly guy. And you know, there's a time where we play Mario Party all the time, where we chime in, and we blime.
Yeah.
And then we, like, take some slime, hold our dicks, get the kicks. You're such a stick and a bick. That's not a word, but that's absurd. I don't know any more words that I can even sword. There, that's it.
13.
Yeah. You know what? That was pretty good. I know that when we first started, you were really scared, but you fared. And I think there's a lot to be said about the way that you dealt with the trauma in your head. Because of your diligence and your ability from get to point A to point Z.
Does Carter take it in the end?
I am going to give Carter the honorary win. His continued persistence and his phenomenal growth.
I don't think I deserve it.
Well, you also deserve the win last time I took it from you.
I'm giving the power to you guys. What's the worst person that you absolutely hate?
There's this Cõck whose alarm goes off all day and all night in my dorm. I lovingly refer to him as Alarm Cõck. He must miss home really bad and just think about those days when his father would wake up in the morning and go to work, but every single morning he'd be woken up by the distant sound of the default Samsung or Apple ringtone. That must be the only thing that gives him solace now living on his own in college, because as it plays 24/7 at maximum volume. The guy's like a 6'6" black guy, so I'm not gonna fucking tell him to stop. He's definitely capable of snapping me like a twig.
Maybe he's a plant. Maybe it's like an experiment, like to see if anyone in the dorm is gonna snap and just go
like the
after him.
plutonium experience of the 60s, of course, yeah. Let's just see if we can drive an entire floor insane.
You said that you kept on kicking his door too.
Yeah, I made this habit of every night, presumably either sitting at his desk or asleep when I knew he was in the room. I would make a habit of at 2 a.m. every day, just winding up and kicking his door as hard as I fucking could to scare the shit out of him.
Usually he'd stop the alarm for like 15 minutes and then start playing it again and slowly bring the volume back up.
I think he's doing this on purpose.
I think so too. Because
there's like no reason why you would enjoy that yourself. You just like torturing people, I guess.
the nail in the coffin was 5 a.m. I was just laying in bed staring at the ceiling and my alarm was going off. And by my, I mean his. But it's fucking my problem. It's that goddamn loud. And I got out of my bed. I think I had like a towel wrapped around me and I was in my underwear and my bunny slippers. And I just walked over to his door. Like I just sat there with my hand on the wall next to the door like, do I want to do this? And after like 5 minutes of psyching myself up to it, getting angrier and angrier at this sound, I hit the door so hard I thought I broke 2 fingers. They hurt for like 3 days after that.
Shut up.
But what?
The Amazon thing. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Wail on this door as hard as I can. Like the echo goes down the hallway and reverbs back in me like once or twice. It was as if somebody had blown up, like as if they had gone off and I heard other people in adjacent rooms stirring, getting on it, like, what the fuck was that? And I just hobble back to my room and close the door, and the alarm has never been a problem since.
Wow.
Really?
All it took was physical injury to make it happen.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
I never knew that actually stopped. Yeah.
But this fucking Cõck for 6 months! God. Holy shit, the waveform. I was talking to that guy. Like, I would just be sitting on the floor in my room. God, how fucking brain dead must you be? How hard must your parent grab you by the leg as an infant and swing you against a fucking pipe with, like, head first for you to grow up and think that that's acceptable, even if no one confronts you about it? Because you're a 6'6" black guy that's like 300 pounds of pure muscle.
Wow. Crazy.
But it stopped.
It stopped.
It stopped.
And now we're going to a new house.
Just in time for me to move out, yeah.
You know, that story reminds me of last semester. I'm a religious studies major. What we do is that we read a ton of traditional stories, and one of them is about the Buddha, in which totally opposite meaning of the story that you guys said. There's a story in which his penis extends really long.
Not the opposite of what we said.
Well, the meaning is different because what happened is that your character thought of boobs, and his character is more, oh, I am pure. No, I am pure. I am one. I don't think of sexual shit.
And he gets a boner from that?
No. Well, what happens is that he finds some prostitutes who are like trying to fuck with him, and then he like punches them and shit. And then there's like
a man of peace if ever there was one.
Yeah, and then he found like people who were like non-believers. He's like,
Why would I be pure? Like, why?
and then he like fucking like shoots his cock out, and like this is not gonna be word for word, but it's cock fucking like Mount
I would be
Everest.
surprised if in the ancient Farsi it said like, and then Buddha's cock shot out and destroyed the non-believers.
No, what the point was, his dick wrapped around the mountain, and the whole point was like, because I'm pure, I have a big penis. And they're like,
Dude, you got a point.
and then they fucking joined the Buddha, and that's how Buddhism like formed.
Is that an actual story?
Yeah.
So the Buddha's hero origin story is that he would beat women and...
You were enticing him because he's a very attractive man.
So he seduced men into his cult.
Well, just people in his cult, but yeah.
and wrapped his unreasonably long dick around a mountain.
Yes,
Buddhism sounds fucking metal.
it's actually really. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh man.
The actual fuck.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Moral of the story, you guys should study some religion. It's really
What
fucking.
the fuck? What the fuck?
Moral of the story, use your penis offensively.
Oh, man.
Alright, next question. Fuck this
So,
conversation.
what are the points? Nate, 3.
Nate's got 3, I got 1.
All right, 5. Imagine that we are all in the same room. We're all downstairs. We're all playing video games. We're playing Isaac because we want to torture ourselves real badly. I have a heart attack. What do you guys do?
Oh.
Throw a party. Done.
Nate's the winner for this one. You didn't even give us yet. Is that going to be your final answer? Because if it is, Nate's going to get the point.
Alright, fine, I'll think of something else.
Cool.
Okay, so there are two kinds of heart emergency that go by the name heart attack. A pulmonary obstruction, or pulmonary blockage, which basically means your heart can't receive enough blood and pump it right, and that takes place over a couple of days. Or, the more interesting option, there's sudden cardiac arrest, where your heart just stops for no reason, and you plop on the floor, and your tongue sticks out, and two black X's go over your eyes to indicate that you are dead. Is that correct?
64 death. Boom. I mean, I don't know. You're saying the smart stuff for a stupid solution.
Well, that's just context. We haven't started solving the problem yet. We're just establishing the rules. Because this is supposed to be stupid, I'm going to assume the best of both worlds. You are having a heart attack and you will stop and die, but I will have several days to prepare. So, based on this, I go on a spiritual journey. I travel through the darkest forests. I travel through the African plains and make my way to Wakanda during the events of Avengers Infinity War. And I hide behind the trees while Thanos is acquiring the final stone. And when it's my time...
Wait a minute.
Isn't Wakanda, like, invisible? Aren't you not able to see it unless you're there?
I have connections.
Okay, never mind, go on.
As Thor misses the head, as Thanos is about to snap, I quickly, deftly slide in and swipe the Infinity Gauntlet off of his hands. And then I race back home. He doesn't trail me because he's stupid. I get home, and at this point, it is the exact nanosecond that Carter falls over. His heart has stopped, and the only way I can think to save him is to do that thing also in Infinity War, where I use the gauntlet to pull the moon out of the sky. And to give you one giant, mega effective chest compression to get your heart going again, I have the moon land directly on your chest and get that blood pumping once more. And my friend, you live to tell the tale.
Like, as you guys say this, I have like... Man, what? I get the Infinity Gauntlet, I come back, and then I shove the finger up his ass.
I mean, hey, reality can be whatever, and I have the time stone. I can go back and do it that way if you prefer it that way.
That's a smart move, though. That's not, yeah.
So, which one
I'm sorry. Restarting somebody's heart by fingering their asshole is the smart way to handle things? You want to go ahead and explain that to me?
Dude, you're thinking with your head, you need to think with your hand. So,
my bad.
I don't know if you noticed, but I have a tooth now.
Oh, shit, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's been a persistent thing that I have had dental problems. They have been a problem since I was 8 years old, this particular tooth, and it is finally in place for good. Really stoked, but also really paranoid, because it is a surreal experience to bite into a burger and feel it everywhere except for one little bit of the arc in your mouth.
Oh, man.
Every time you do anything, you're like, did I break it? I guess I wouldn't be able, because I can't feel it, because it's a piece of porcelain in my head, but just every time I eat anything, I think I fucked up and I'm gotta go through it all again.
Jeez.
But there is one story from this escapade that I want to tell that I think you guys will get a lot out of. It involves drugs.
What?
So I know you'll enjoy it.
Sweet.
Okay, so it was sometime during the podcast's lifespan, like within the last 6 months, I had an implant put in. Basically, I had the tooth taken out because it was rotting. It looked like death. There was a little pocket of something unnatural stuck to it. That's never going to leave my brain. I remember when they pulled it, the dentist was like, "Ooh, take a look at that." to her like nurse assistant, and then they went and got a fucking camera and photographed it for like the scrapbook, I guess. Which, you know, when you're just staring up at the ceiling like, that's never what you want to hear.
It's like a barber saying,
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, or like,
Your disease, I get to name it.
you know, it's like you don't want to be patient zero for anything. You don't want to be in the scrapbook. After a bunch of hullabaloo, they put an implant in, which is a big metal screw hole, basically. That was in the summer. And for that, they gave me some pills to take before I got there. Some were mild, keep your blood pressure down stuff for the surgery, you know, keep you calm. And then one was pain relief. And that was a pill of, I believe, Valium.
Oh, no.
And that shit fucks you up.
Yeah.
I remember I took it and then I was sitting in a chair and I got up and I tried to start walking and then the floor rushed up at me and I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not driving. That was a formative experience for me because I was like, yeah, I'm pretty content not being a druggie if this is what it's like. So fast forward to this winter break when I got the implant put in, or like the crown put on the implant, I should say. The whole hullabaloo, they wouldn't cap it for some reason, so I went to this new guy. The whole thing. They make you fill out this questionnaire. You know, are you pregnant? Do you have sickle cell? All this shit.
Well, I get really paranoid because I don't want to fuck it up, because you say something wrong, then they question you and it might delay your surgery, right?
Mhm.
So I wanted to be as honest as possible. And then one of the tally boxes was, in the last 6 months, have you taken pot? No. Heroin? No. Have you taken opiates? And so I was like, well, yeah, but it was for... So I checked it, and then I wrote in the margins, like, but it was for a dentist thing. Presumably you know how that is. I figured they might understand. Yeah, so that was kind of hanging over my head, is like, maybe I shouldn't have confirmed that I've had opiate. Maybe I shouldn't have written that down. That might cause more fallout than I intended, especially because they might just scan it and not read the margins. I don't know. Fill the sheet out, sit in the chair, and then I'm just like staring up at the ceiling, like just waiting for the doctor to arrive. And he comes in the room and he's like, hey, how are you? And I was just kind of staring off into space. So when he said that, I like jumped and I was like, oh, hey, hi. You know, like I was really caught off guard by it because I was in my own little world. And then he's like, so, PCP. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, your PCP, what about it? Or what about him? And I was like, no, it was Valium. It was not PCP, it was Valium. And he's like, what? And so I'm like, no. Well, I'm not on acid. I'm not a fucking maniac. I was on Valium because the dentist gave it to me. It was a whole thing. I shouldn't have said it. That was stupid of me. I'm sorry for causing a ruckus. And he's like, what the fuck are you... I'm gonna get the nurse. And he just walks out. And I was like, what a fucking dick. How dare you come into a room and the first thing you say to me after hi is, you're on acid, right? That's so fucked. And I was just in the chair like, oh my god, why did I come here? I should have just said this I was already with. And I was just like, man, what a dick. Personal care physician. Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah, you know what? I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. And so... let's play that back from his perspective, shall we? He walks in a room and says hi, and I go, hi! And then he's like, so, who's your doctor? And I'm like, oh, I'm not on acid, I'm on Valium. My other dentist gave it to me. And then he just walks out of the room because he thinks he's got a fucking drugged up maniac in his operating room. Yeah, so that's how I met the guy who put this thing in my head. Nice.
Did you hit it off after that?
Yeah. It smoothed out pretty quickly, but probably thought I was deranged for a long time. Oh, hi. Yeah, and I was also wearing like Kid A socks and a Pink Floyd shirt, which are, you know, the two most sober bands that I can think of. Yeah, I was just staring off into space. Yeah, I could have fooled me.
Yeah, that's a little rough there.
But yeah, he put the tooth in. There was a part where he's like, this might hurt a lot. And sure enough, it hurt a lot. It didn't stop for like 3 days. But eventually it went away.
Ooh, I hate mouth pain.
It was actually the surrounding teeth. This one is not happy it has a neighbor now. But it's mostly subsided.
Gross.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Nice.
That's disgusting.
That's pretty gross.
At one point, we mentioned you have a very complicated relationship with money.
Money.
You spend a lot, but you're also a very frugal guy. But I think this is your finest hour. May you tell us about the time you haggled for a dog bed?
Oh, jeez. I don't really think of it as, like, a big event for me, because I've, like, done that before.
Yeah, but in a fucking Target.
I used to do it at a grocery store. Like, I used to work at a grocery store and haggle with the people there.
That's not a thing that happens anywhere but in your world. You used to imagine going to like a Ben & Jerry's and being like,
It's for small.
and you're like, hey, listen, it seems like you guys have a lot of work going on. Like chocolate chips, it's a big hassle getting them out of the back room, you know? Tell you what, I'll hold them and you just knock off like a 40 cents.
I mean, if it's a talent, you might as well use it.
I used to know them. I knew that they didn't fucking care about their job. I was like, you mind, like, giving me a free meal for this? But you just punch in a number and then you get a free meal from them. Anyway, about the dog bed.
Yeah, it was, on the shelf it said $10, right?
Yes. And you guys are like, why the fuck are you looking at the dog beds? I'm like, dude, they look really cool. Also, this one's $10.
Distinctly remember it looking like it was a mislabel, though.
It was the only one there, and I thought it was really weird because, like, on one end of the aisle, there was the one dog bed, and on the other end, there were a ton of other dog beds.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, this one really speaks to me. This one's a big one. This one
speaks to me. Yeah, and it's $10 as opposed to $50 like the rest.
Well, and I've been wanting a futon because this is when Ada and I were, like, living together. This was the time where Nate broke one of my fucking chairs because his ass is big or something.
What?
That happened at some point.
At some point, whatever. But yeah, we were missing a ton of chairs. I wanted to sit down on a non-wooden floor, so I was like, dog bed for $10. Yes, please. Went over to the fucking self-checkout, checked it out, saw it was $45. I was like, this is not gonna work out. Waved my hand at somebody. They're like,
hey, what's up?
I was like, well, on this shelf this said it was $10, but for some reason it was $45, and I could tell that this person did not give a fuck about their.
Put it back in the wrong place.
I actually did offer. I was like, hey, if you want to put this back, you can, and that also allows them to
they're fucking do.
Yeah, they don't want to fucking do that. They have to give me the discount for it. Fucking dog bed was worth $10 for me.
And then we had a dog bed.
That was what brought everybody into the dorm.
Yeah, I loved that thing. Like, unironically.
Thinking about getting another one for the cat. I'm sad that I don't have it anymore. It's because there was nowhere to put it in the house.
The fucking episode where you brought it up the first time is one of my favorite things. You're like, I got rid of it, and we're like, what happened? And you're like, well, I don't have a dog.
Yeah.
Fuck!
I was living with my mom, and I didn't want to be like, hey, Mom, so I bought a dog bed, and I haggled with it. So I was like,
want to know what I went through to get this thing.
During that episode, didn't you justify it with a hole that was in it?
Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
I said there was a hole in it.
Because I understand.
I thought it was damaged, and I thought it was on clearance, and I thought that's why it was there.
Because, like, I wouldn't take it just being a dog bed as a valid reason to get rid of it.
That's what's funny about it.
Despite its intended purpose, that thing is a bomb-ass pillow. That thing is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was lovely. That was it. That's the dog bed.
So my story is called I Just Wanted Lunch.
I just wanted lunch.
Oh, I know this one. I
think I know where this is going.
So picture me sitting at maybe like 11:30, 12.
Not too hard.
I'm getting kind of hungry. We would all get lunch together some days. I think on this particular day, people had class and we're just generally busy. So I was like, you know what? I'll just venture out and get some myself. So
The lone wolf.
I opened my dorm room, me and Tristan's dorm, and we were rooming together at the time. I opened the door, down the hall, I hear, oh! So I duck back into my room. I'm like, Tristan, did you hear that? I just heard somebody moan, and I think it was Carter.
It wasn't me.
I went and got lunch, and then this is when Tristan decides to text our group chat, Carter, can you moan any fucking quieter? And so all day we were just talking about it. Carter is denying that he moaned. I'm like, dude, I heard you. Yeah, at some point he blames it on a ghost.
Yeah.
That was a joke. Minecraft one,
No.
I blamed it on Minecraft, and I actually do believe that was the case.
Yeah, so apparently...
Okay, but here's the thing, though, is that you were defending the ghost theory for like at least a month.
That's because I was playing along with you guys. I did not actually believe it.
Your hypothesis is that you were playing Minecraft and like you died in lava and lost a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like when you die, you're just like,
oh!
Yeah. It wasn't like a fucking arousal moan, guys. It was like me fucking like losing all my shit in lava.
It sounded so sexual.
The saddest story ever told.
And I was, were you jacking off? And you were like, no, why would I jack off in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I quote that a lot, like, why would I do blank in the afternoon?
Oh, is that what that's from?
Yes.
You say that a lot, and everyone but me laughs. I never know why.
Yeah, it's because he said that.
Okay.
Yeah, why would you jack off in the afternoon? There's another story where like was knocking on my door for dinner, and I was like, I'm coming, and like I was in my bed. As said, I usually like only wear underwear, so I put on my shirt, put on my pants, and like put on my belt, and he heard the belt.
I'm coming.
And I just opened the door, and he just looks at me really. He's like, "Are you ready to go?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And like we didn't talk about it in like Tristan and Nate's room. I was like, "Oh, I was just getting dressed." I
was getting dressed.
I remember the way he phrased it. He was like, were you baiting, bro?
Flat out, stone face. Yes.
God, I miss a lot of stuff.
That was a good time.
Yeah, freshman year was a trip. The legacy of the day where Carter moaned lives on in infamy.
Yeah, that year was a mess.
It was September 21st, 2020. Anyway,
well, Carter's our winner. I guess you gotta pick something good for next week.
I'm going to take you back to a different hypothetical.
Okay.
This was quite a while ago. How can they make synthetic sperm without a synthetic cock? Tell me.
When was this?
What?
2 years ago or something? It's in the Discord.
Okay, not on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I thought this was on the
Synthetic
podcast.
sperm without a synthetic cock.
How do they do it?
Well, I know that they do, I don't know if synthetic could be the right word for it, but I know they inject, like, eggs into women so they can have babies if they can't ovulate themselves.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel like maybe if you really wanted the experience of making a kid, they could put working sperm in your balls. I can see that.
True, yeah.
But, like, if you don't have the synthetic cock, how are you going to blast it?
Well, they put it in your ball with the rest of your shit sperm, and then one of your good synthetic sperm joins the ranks, and they go through. And it's just like it.
But where are they going through?
Your dick. Where do you think sperm comes from? It's in the balls. So if there's synthetic sperm in your balls, it's gonna wipe the same place the rest of your cum goes.
What I can just imagine is like the female just takes a
The female.
the female takes a synthetic cum and puts it on their finger, and then they're like,
Alright, time to make a child.
and then they start fingering themselves. That way you don't need that way you don't need a synthetic cock.
No!
I mean, that's the answer. That's how you make it happen. That's why you don't need a synthetic cock, because you just have to use a finger in order to.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I have thought of that. Like, what if you just covered your hand with cum and then just shoved it?
I mean, there was the old myth that you get pregnant in a swimming pool if somebody came in it, and that's not true. I guess that's more plausible.
As long as it's like working swimming cum. I mean, if it's fucking dried and it's dead on your finger, I mean,
What does dead sperm look like?
a cum stain.
I know it can live for 5 days.
Yeah, it can live for a while. I'm pretty sure there's been instances where there's a cum stain and some woman just rubs their pussy against it and got pregnant. There you go. That's another way to have synthetic cum with that.
Shut up! What is wrong with you?
So I'm going to give the point to Carter.
Yes! What?
He was out of pocket, but I was engaged.
You cannot encourage this behavior.
You berated me, though. It made me upset.
When did I berate you? I explained how a cock and balls work.
Yeah, but you raised your voice at me.
So yesterday, Carter, you were at work, you didn't see this, but Nate and I went to go get some noodles and company. And on the way there, we were talking about, we made sure to get it to go. Like, we're going to get it and go. It's going to be the quickest thing, and that didn't quite pan out.
Not cool. No.
As we have stated on this podcast many times, I have hilariously bad luck. Went through the line, put in our orders. Nate got, I forget what, doesn't matter. I got noodles, I got buttered noodles, and I got a sody pop. I opted not to get a receipt because what could be simpler? Well, Nate gets his order pretty immediately, and then I'm just sitting there waiting for mine, and after a while I realize it's taking a little bit. So Nate goes back up to check. Now my name is not up there. There's nothing that says Aiden. And so we're like, I didn't think buttered noodles were a complicated order, but I guess we'll give him time.
There was that, and also people order for pickup a lot.
Right, yeah.
So they have them make it in advance, and then they just swoop it and pick it up and then leave.
Yeah, and I went after you, so maybe I got screwed up and there are people between me.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe 3-5 more minutes, and then we'll check again.
Yeah. Eventually, I go up and check myself, and I'm like, all right, maybe we just didn't hear it. And I see there's multiple bags up there. One of them, it's listed to Ian Japanese noodles.
Yeah.
Japanese pan noodles.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Ian, well, that's not me. I guess I'll go sit back down. And then I was thinking about it, and after we started getting really antsy, because we're like, we have to be somewhere. I'm like, you think they misheard me as Ian?
Yeah, and it's like...
Because all those letters are in my name.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. It's the same number of syllables. Yeah, all the letters are in your name. And there's also, from where I was sitting, because I was facing towards the counter, there's a little screen back in the kitchen where you can see, like, how many orders they're working on or whatever. There would be one order at a time generally, but it was, like, constantly swapping out. So it's like, okay, they're definitely not working on your order. So
I was like, all right, just in case Ian is on his way to pick up his food, because I struggle to believe that they misheard buttered noodles as Japanese pan noodles.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait a good 3 more minutes and we'll see what happens. And if Ian doesn't show up, I'm taking Ian's food. And right as the 3 minutes expire, they put another order on the desk, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm glad we waited. I go up and it's listed to
Audrey, spaghetti and meatballs. And so I go back and sit back down and I'm like, no, we got a situation. So Ian, all the letters in my name, versus Audrey, A. Dan, also plausible. And I'm starting to, I realize, like, I should have fucking kept my receipt. I asked for it. And so we're there, like, I don't know what to do. And neither of them are getting claimed. And so it's like, at least one of them belongs to somebody who's on their way to get it from home, right?
It was just straight out of a sitcom. Like, we were pouring over this Ian thing for so long. And
right.
then, like, over your shoulder, I see that they have another order ready. I'm like, oh. And then she says Audrey.
Yeah, which are like, they're both equally plausible. Because there are male Audreys. That's a thing that exists. They misheard my name once. They could mishear my order too. But both of them just seemed so not my order. And like the whole time, besides those 2 orders that we watched get put out and waiting for mine, there was another couple of orders that had nothing to do with it that were also waiting. So maybe the turnaround for going to pick up your order is just really long. And I didn't want to fuck Audrey or Ian over. I didn't want to be that guy. And we just left and I didn't eat anything. So I paid $10 for a raspberry Fanta, basically. Is what happened. They made up for it, bought me a loaf of bread for 97 cents.
Yeah.
So thankfully it all evened out by the end.
Yeah, paid you back in full because I felt bad.
I think I had cereal for dinner. You know, I reminded myself of something that I kind of want to get into a little bit. Did I tell you that I'm on a podcast Shítlist?
No, what happened?
Late Night with Brian Wecht. In the infancy of that podcast, they asked online, like,
ask us questions and we'll answer them on the podcast and it'll be fun.
And no one's going to believe this, but I'd never heard of Reddit at the time. I'd never been on it.
Okay.
I'd never seen it, because I just heard it was this cesspool of ass, and so I kept my fucking distance. I didn't even know if it was a forum or anything. I thought it was like... thought it was a porn site, so I didn't mess with it. But Reddit's famous for being the progenitor of the is soup cereal debate, right? That's where that really came to a head.
Oh boy.
Not being familiar with this, I was like just walking around my house during COVID with nothing going on upstairs. And I was like, you know, that's a question I've never thought of before. I'll pose it. And... oh, shit! So I asked it to them on Twitter, and then the episode came out, and they said, hey, if you're the guy that asked if soup is cereal, go fuck yourself. So if you want to hear Brian Wecht of my favorite band, Ninja Sex Party, call me a fuckhead, episode 10 of Late Night with Brian Wecht.
Oh, that...
yeah, so...
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and it was like, oh god, man. It's like, it's during COVID, so you're already all sad. And then your podcast brings you up and tells you you're a fuckhead. But they're so nice to everyone that's not you. And it's like, fuck. I know it's my fault, but god damn it.
God, imagine if you brought up his water wet to that.
Okay, what if we did a little discussion on if you could choose, how would you be executed?
You know, I like that.
That's actually a good topic.
All right. Now, execution by playing Pizza Tower for until I drop
Until your eyes melt out of your skull.
would be pretty solid, but I like to think a bit more realistically.
You could have somebody have their last meal as like 10 gallons of semen if you wanted.
Oh, go to the sperm bank.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's
Like a funeral director runs in, like funeral director and whatever, like the
warden.
The warden.
Give me 10 gallons of sperm.
He like throws his hands on the front desk and like, I need your best shit fast.
What would the consistency of frozen semen be like? Do you think it'd be like a
popsicle.
Popsicle.
Or you could McFlurry it through the machine.
You can blow your McLoad.
anyway, serious topic. What were you gonna say?
I just
Yeah.
Where were we?
I just imagine like the prison's guard come in, they just have a trough that they jack up into.
It's like, just give us like 6 hours.
6 hours to fill it.
That's
Well, I mean, you're in prison.
you know, actually,
What else is there to do?
that's a smart move. If their last meal is 10 gallons of semen, then they have to extend their execution
Do
date.
you think it will slowly evaporate away, or do we need to seal it in between?
Oh yeah, do you think there'll
don't
be...
know how it works.
Like if you leave a water out for too long and the level gets lower?
Yeah.
It just gets cloudier and cloudier as it goes on.
I imagine like they open up their giant ass freezer, like the clouds of mist to just part, and then it's just like it's like a giant pudding cup.
The clouds of pissed.
And you're just there with your knife and fork, like.
All right,
like-
prisoner 249, it's been a year and a half, but we got it.
The fate Andy Dufresne deserves.
No, you have to eat it, or else. Yeah.
Well, bon appetit, I guess.
Okay, no, I am going to change my answer. I would
Just
want,
like Mama used to make.
I would want death by consuming frozen semen.
You. No, you wouldn't. You willing to die on that cross?
How would you die from that, please?
That
I
would
wanna
be.
know.
People would talk about that for centuries. That'd be hilarious.
That's true.
Are
you
we
would,
talking like
that would be-
choking or like eating too much and it
like it. Well, are there enough nutrients in it to sustain you?
It's protein filled.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's just like I chip away at it until I.
It's like with an ice pick.
Yeah.
It's a little sperm. They're made out of protein.
You make a cum sculpture.
That's how I'd want to die. Because, like, you get suffocated by puppies. That's going to be, like, a few moments of bliss. If there's an afterlife and we get to, like, see what happens afterwards, it's like, if it's frozen semen, it's like, oh, yeah, this is going to be huge. Like, this is going to hit it big with BBC, the news company.
I can't wait until the
Yeah, the
historians
big
start
black
writing
cock.
about
I know
this.
of him.
So that's my ideal
You're the big
scenario.
boy
to me.
commander in the sky.
Okay.
He's gonna be like, ooh, Nate, wow.
You know, wasn't convinced, but cum sculpture really won me over. I'll join you on that cross.
Wow. Dude, we gotta do it for the BBC.
Come on, Three Musketeers. Yeah, come on, someone join the Three Cümsketeers. Come on.
I can't.
Musketeers.
I
Ooh.
can't.
No takers, huh? It's just the two of us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can't
I'm
imagine
gonna
why.
have to think about something else.
You're
That would-
stuck.
I was thinking like Nate chokes on frozen cum and it's actually Aiden's cum and that's how he dies.
Hang on. No, I just want to share his ice block. I don't want to
No,
make
no,
it.
no,
No, I like this
Aiden comes
reality.
up to heaven later and he's like, hey man, that was good.
Hey man, and like BBC just comes up and he watches the same thing.
Righteous, man.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Wow.
I don't know if we can have more than one of those cum executions in more than a decade.
By the way, as soon as the swear jar went out the window, he started talking about eating cum.
Yeah.
He's got a point, though. I think you're going to need to think a bit more realistic.
Fine, I would rather die like being frozen in a block of cum.
like one of those lifeless with a scorpion in it.
Yeah,
You're just frozen in there like Han Solo and carbonate.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait. In Star Wars, when
Episode 5.
Luke goes into the Bacta tank, what if it was cum?
Episode 6.
And you're just floating in there like, whoa.
Yeah, we're steering this
Yeah,
away
we're
from...
steering us away.
You're the main guy right now. Let's
Okay,
hear it.
anyway, eating cum. What was it about?
No, I'm not.
No, I think we heard that.
No.
We heard that.
Okay, here's the deal. I can think of like myself turning into an archaeologist and like I have to go into this temple. But the problem is that there's like a whole ocean of cum that I have to get past. And I'm swimming past it and like I hear a rumbling deep in the earth and then I just see like the edge of the cum freeze and I'm like, oh, and then I have to like go after it.
You reach the center of the girth.
Yeah, like I'm in the center.
Oh, no.
And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's something down, so I dive deep down, and then it's already over. I'm already frozen in the
Is that an execution?
No, that's
In so many
that's
words,
an
yeah.
execution,
That sounds like an SCP. Like they jump into the lake of cum and it
SCP.
freezes them.
And I mean, who knows? I might die, and then I might come back.
Oh, wait. And in your last moment, as it's freezing around you, you look and you see like hundreds of other corpses all frozen in cum.
Yeah,
And the camera pans away like The Shining.
Yes.
I've just been a victim. But yeah, that would be the best execution.
Is this gonna get banned? Like, there's a chance.
Anyway, Nico, what's your execution?
Well, I had a couple ideas, but I guess I'm just gonna go with the cum theme.
You know, Guy, you can be the one.
The lone wolf.
The lone wolf.
The Three Cümsketeers are already perfected. You can do
Yeah,
what you want.
you're
I'm the
right.
better
You are
one, though.
free.
I'm free? Well,
Yeah,
shit.
free.
See, for the longest time I always thought I'd rather die by firing squad and get my head blown up or something. But that's kind of boring. So I was thinking, like, what if we had a moon base in the future? It's like Wolfenstein, where the Nazis win and they have a moon base. You go there like BJ Blazkowicz. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to be on the moon in a little recliner or like a little beach chair. glass of cum on my side.
With a little drink umbrella.
I'm sitting there, and then they rip my helmet off and I die. I think that'd be awesome.
You mentioned that in the space tier list.
Did I really?
Yeah, where you were like, I want to die in a recliner, and then like I never rot away, so I'm just a horrifying like obelisk for future astronauts to see when they land.
The worst thing is that the sun is gonna bleach me. Like over time, the radiation will make me like really gross looking.
Oh.
When he was like, I don't know if I would be like shot by like militia. What if like the bullets were the cum?
The frozen cum.
The frozen cum. It shoots into the back of you.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
Switching gears ever so slightly.
It seems like we're losing a bit of momentum.
As much as you claim to love animals, I have a story about a time in which you were terrified. You were scared out of your mind. You thought you were going to fucking explode.
Oh.
Tell us about the BWR bats.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good one. So, we all met in college. Right at the start of college for all of us because we
Within
lived...
the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, we lived in the same building. And that building, we have some great memories there, was kind of cruddy.
They were in spite of the building.
Yeah, no AC, pretty cramped, honestly.
And we lived on the top floor where all the heat went.
Yeah, it was rough up there during the hot seasons.
A problem that developed latently. You had to keep the windows closed at night, right?
Yeah, we kept them open because it was fucking hot. And as a direct consequence of this, we had some little visitors from time to time.
Well. It wasn't because of the windows. It was because we were on the 4th floor of the building. The janitor closet led straight to the attic. And the attic is where all the bats were. So
Really?
Mm-hmm. So sometimes the janitor closet was left open and therefore the bats would come in.
I do distinctly remember a bat being, like, stuck in the screen of the window, though.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I fucking pushed that thing out. That was fun.
He fucking punched a bat back into the night.
Well, what happened was, like, I was... Yeah, well, I was talking to call him an RA. There's a bat on the screen, and they're like...
I don't know what to do about it.
Well,
Oh, don't worry, I got this.
so I was like, how about I, like, take off the screen and then, like, slowly scrape the bat off? But what happened was, like, as I was taking it off, it, like, slid out of the building. So while the bat was on the screen just fell outside.
What?
And I just stared at it, and I was like...
Stuck to it.
He was stuck to it. I'm like, no. It was just me, Tristan, and then the RA. And like Tristan just looked at it. He was laughing his shit off. And the RA was just like, dude, just grab the screen and bring it back. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it.
Toast lands butter side down. Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's...
Fucker fell 45 feet and got crushed by a pane of metal.
These bats were such a common occurrence that they had posters up all around the hall that was like, this is what you do if you see a bat.
Yeah, they blamed the windows. We couldn't keep them open at night.
Yeah, it was because of the janitor closet. Yeah, they...
Fuck, it was so hot.
And so just once every couple of weeks, someone would just see a bat crawling around on the floor. Usually they wouldn't fly. There was one that did, and that was the most interesting one. But usually they'd just be like plotting around, often in the bathroom.
I have a video of one.
So like 4 people would just be gathered watching it, and then someone's got to call like the RA,
animal control or whatever.
The supervisor for the building, and then we just wait and look at it.
And you got to imagine, since the building is a door with nothing but halogen light, the thing is fucking blinded. It's like.
There was one time that that one went into a shower, and I don't think anyone was in there, but if someone like went in there naked, ready to get scrubbed off, then that would have been a rude awakening. But there was one time where the fucker did take flight, and it was when we got back from somewhere. I think we got back from dinner. It was a whole saga. I remember being there for so long because a particular moment where I was poised to like step into a different hallway.
There's a big T, the building.
And then I just see something go whoosh, and I'm like, I almost didn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
There was one point where it got into all that my room was on. And so I'm walking, it starts flying right the fuck at my head. And I'm like,
what I heard was, I was in my room, right? And by the way, you were on like the farthest corner of the building from my room, right? I was just in my room sitting, and then I heard...
followed by a bang. I thought somebody had a fucking gun or something and they were shooting down the hallways, but no, it was just, I guess, a bat flying directly at Nate's face, and he, in the clutter of turning around, just like punches a wall as hard as he fucking can. The whole building shook.
I think what happened was that it was like coming at me at a downward angle, so I was like, oh god, I gotta get low, so I like tumbled.
Yeah,
in that tumble, I probably hit the wall.
It was a loud fucking bang, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
It was like the fucker was trying to get me too. Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but it was just down the hall, and then it turns around and goes back, and I'm just like, holy shit!
Yeah, I remember, like, I was in my dorm and I was just peeking out. I was like, ooh, that's a nice bat. And then it comes towards me and I'm like, all right, back in the door. And then, like, one time I just saw you and I was like, hey, Nate, there's a bat. And you're like, what? And then you see it and you're like, ah!
Yeah, and this was the COVID semester, right?
Yep.
We were all in the hallway with masks and stuff, and I just went like, and I kind of stepped out into the hallway, like, at the other end of the hallway, there was like people. You know, I didn't know them, but I was like, what the fuck? Just hear from across the hall. And by the way, this is during quiet hours. It was like really late at night, and they were like, "There's a fucking bat."
I think that's what I had said, yeah.
Was that
might have been me, yeah.
I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, there's a T, and it was all the way on the other side.
Yeah, I was fucking rattled.
Yeah, you hit an octave untold.
Yeah, it only happens when something really catches me off guard, and that fit the bill. That scared the shit out of me.
But yeah, they were a problem for so long, and because of that first semester just sucked. It was so hot.
Yeah, Jesus. Wait, what was her name again?
Mary.
Marry me. I'm on a roll right now.
Guys, it's the romance episode. We gotta kiss each other.
Should I wed you two?
No.
All right.
I don't have anything to say about Queen Mary, so we might as well.
Okay. We are gathered here today on April...
No.
When it goes out, you ignoramus.
Oh, ignoramus.
Wait, 29th when the last one out. It is April the 11th.
Okay.
Wait, 29th.
I don't think you're qualified for that.
It is April the 12th. And on this day, we are gathered in holy matrimony. I'm not religious, this is kind of hard for me to pronounce Cartavius and Nathavius Cõck and fuck.
Can I say my vows?
By all means, fuck.
I will stick my wiener so far up your asshole it'll come out your nose.
Is that it?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, you know, I've been thinking, I don't know if you care about me. I think you just care about my body and sticking your weenus up my asses.
A pastoral Christian wedding. You may now kiss the bride.
I was gonna like, ah!
This is Tear of Grace, right?
That is Tear of Grace.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't know exactly how deep this one goes, because it's kind of lost all except the punchline at this point, but Tear of Grace is a YouTuber. He made a lot of Isaac content back in the day. I guess he still does, but I really liked his videos. I thought they were very funny, and he did an ad read a forever ago, which has stuck with me as being one of the single best jokes I've ever heard. He's making fun of his audience, right? Because he's a British guy. He yells and screams at a lot of stuff and goes insane. That's the whole bit. You know, he's very vulgar, very crass. His edits are extremely explicit, and so the ad reads joke is basically that people will laugh at anything, his fan base, because we're all fucking degenerates. So he literally just stares at the camera in front of a green screen, and he just goes.
he just laughs.
He just goes, penile secretion. And then streamers and explosions and crowd applauding in the background of the video. And that's always stuck with me as being like, I really am a degenerate. So I brought this up to these guys. And we've been searching for the clip tirelessly ever since. We still haven't found it. I don't know where it is. But the penile secretion joke really landed with these two. So we just started saying penile secretion instead of like cum or jizz or nut. And eventually, we just started referring to Tear of Grace as a character within our canon. And he eventually just became the Penile Secretion Guy.
That's what we know him for.
I thought this was going to branch out into another story.
We're getting there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That was later.
That is later.
But if ever we're talking about famous YouTubers, of course, Tear of Grace Grace, otherwise known as the Penile Secretion Guy, comes to mind, obviously. What just happened now is a good indication of it, where before we were laughing like idiots, and now we talk about it as if it's like some sort of formal case studying for a business.
Yeah.
Like all the humor is drained out, and now it's just like his calling card.
Because there have been a couple times where Tear of Grace has just come up naturally.
Right.
And it's always like, so Tear of Grace, the Penile Secretion Guy.
For those of you who are uninformed, the Penile Secretion Guy?
Just so we're on the same page.
But this joke came to a head, and I'll have to find the image for this, but Carter, like a year ago, was thinking about trying something new with his look. He was kind of, he grew the beard at the beginning of college experience. That went pretty well, and he thought, you know what, let's try something else a little wacky. And so he shaved his head, and so he was just the bald man with a beard.
My excuse was that it was October, so I was supporting breast cancer, but I also wanted to look good while doing it, so...
What, you were supporting breast cancer awareness.
Is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
Yeah.
Well, whichever the case, he shaved his head, and man, the glasses, the beard, the baldness, he just became Tear of Grace. And so we started referring to Carter as the Penile Secretion Guy, and he did not like that.
Well, yeah, I just remember, so when you walk into the apartment, there's a mirror on the right, and I was just staring in the mirror. I turned to Nate, I think he's playing games or something. I'm like, hey, Nate, how would I look if I shave my head? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to envision that because I haven't seen you with short hair before.
You remember, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to shave my head.
Just on the day?
Yeah, just on the day. And I'm
oh
cool.
My God.
Yeah, so I got my razor from upstairs, went back downstairs, and I just... and he just looks at me, he's like, oh no.
not your strongest look, if I'm being honest.
I'm just like, okay, can you just trim the back?
And you had invited me over, earlier in the day, presumably before this even began, where you decided your hair was gonna not exist. When I walk in your guys' front door, I'm just greeted by a pile of hair right by the door. And I'm like, am I about to get jigsawed? Is there somebody torturing these guys? And then I walk in, and Carter's holding a razor, and he's like, hey. I didn't want to say anything mean because that's a big jump, but I'm like, man, that is not what you should look like.
I thought it looked good for a couple of weeks, and then I got to the buzz, and I was like, this does not look good.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was an interesting change of pace. Definitely not as good of a change as the beard.
Yeah.
But it was there was something hilarious about it. There's an excellent image, tying this back into Tear of Grace, where Carter's just on the couch playing something.
And I'm holding my phone with a picture of him. They're identical.
You're like, Nate, look, get a photo of this. It's the same fucking guy. And Carter's not looking at the camera. He wanted nothing to do with it.
The exact same position as Grace in the picture. So funny.
Yeah. I will say, bald heads work great with hats. So
yeah, it probably felt great.
It felt wonderful. It was really good.
Yeah, and there was also a whole thing where, Carter, you would not let Nate rub your head with oil.
Oh yeah, no, the hell no.
It's good for you. It's good for both of us, really.
Anyway, there was one time where I farted.
Not hard to imagine.
I just silent farted, and it was rancid. So, who smelt it dealt it is the unspoken rule, right?
And if that fails, he who denied it supplied it.
I feel like you can bypass it if your reaction is genuine enough. So, I farted, and then once I smelled it, I was like, oh, ew! And then my friend sitting next to me was like, oh!
Oh my God, the waveform.
And we just decided it was Gary, which was awful of us.
Oh, man.
Okay, alternate timeline. All three of you farted simultaneously, and so it becomes Schrodinger's ass, and no one will ever know whose fart specifically was the stinky fart, unless you default to the he who smelt it dealt it rules. And if all three of you own up to it and discover the scenario, then the he who denied it supplied it rules come into play.
You lost me.
Exhibit A, there's you, there's Gary, and then there's unnamed third party, okay? And then in this hypothetical third grade scenario, all three are sitting at a table in regional proximity, equidistant, right? Three sides of a triangular table. Yeah. So that way, proximity doesn't mess with anybody's judgment. And then all three of you simultaneously rip ass. but it's all silent, and all three of you are like you, amicable enough to own up to such a thing, in your contemporary self and state of being, because you are very proud of your farts.
Yes.
In this hypothetical scenario, all three of you have this quality, and so all three of you are like, I gotta be honest, that was me. But then you realize that only one fart could have been the disgusting fart, and the rest were fine. So you have this first layer of, do you think that the others are just being polite and you're like, no, I actually did it? Or do you believe each other that all three of you farted? And beyond even that, you would never know whose fart was which because of the equidistant thing, unless you defaulted to the he who denied it supplied it rule because you all smelt it, because you all admitted to it. So the first person to crack and withdraw from the situation is ironically enough the one that gets blamed. That's some beautiful mind game theory for you.
Alright, you know what? Fine. As penance, I will tell my cursed story.
Okay.
Your embarrassing story.
Yeah, okay. Oh, fuck. Okay.
So I'm in this on play.
This is worse. What? Did you just...
I'm putting words in your mouth, though.
Don't put words in my mouth! You already won. Shish. Like all the worst embarrassing stories, this one starts in high school. Freshman year of high school, there's this girl I kind of sort of like a little bit. That's always where it starts. And her birthday's coming up. Very cute, very pretty. We're in a lot of the same classes. I like Jolene. And yeah, her birthday's coming up and I want to get her something nice. You know, because it's like, it's what you do. And I had a bit of a knack of being a bit of a hobbyist. Like I'd made stuffed animals in the past and, you know, I made little trinkets and things and, you know, I'd bring them in. We'd use them for like school projects in the past. So, you know, she was acquainted with this habit of mine. And so I was like, I'm going to make her a little stuffed animal. It'll be cute. It'll be fun. Simple enough idea.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I made her a little yarn doll, like a bunch of wire with yarn wrapped around it. It was a cute little thing. Yeah. So I should probably take a detour to say that how old were you when you discovered masturbation?
Ooh,
7.
Really?
Fuck.
That early?
Oh yeah, dude. I was like touching all over my wee-wee when I was a young lad.
You're a unique case, right?
I was a lot later.
I was 16.
You were wow, that's a lot later than I am. I was in middle school. I will say that.
I was like touching them all over my wee-wee ever since I figured out I got an infection because of when I was 4.
Anyway, that's another story. Aiden, continue.
Have you no shame? Okay, but anyway, at this point in my life, I was 15. I never even thought about it. I didn't know it was a thing you could do. I'd never seen a monkey jack off at a zoo or nothing. I just never occurred to me. And this is going to become pivotal to the story.
Ah, I see where this is.
No, you fucking do not. So,
anyway.
My dad works for a shipping company, so there's like a bunch of boxes all over the house, right? Like any room, there's just piles of folded up boxes you can choose from. And, you know, like, did you just sneeze? I'm trying to tell a story. I'm trying to cancel myself, all right? There's boxes all over the place, boxes of any size, boxes shaped like dragons, boxes shaped like your mother, you know, anything. But I'm looking around, and there are just no boxes that would fit this stuffed animal. Like, there's none that are... I think you might have figured it out.
Yeah.
There are no boxes that are, like, the perfect size for it. Like, they're too big to fit in my backpack and too small to carry it, right? And so I'm like, why? This is so fucking weird. Like, there should be boxes that fit it somewhere in this house. And then I cracked the code. This thing is the perfect size to fit inside a tissue box. So I saw this tissue box and I was like, perfect. So I put the plushie in the tissue box, wrapped that sucker up, brought it to school,
Okay.
handed it to her, said I made this with you in mind. And then I had a test to make up, so I walked off and she opened it in front of everybody I know. I know, Kitty, I know! Like I said, didn't know a damn thing about jacking off. So
Did you wrap it up in tissue paper?
No, just in a tissue box.
Okay.
But a couple of months later, when I finally discovered this, I finish, grab a Kleenex, and have the worst post-nut clarity of my life when it finally clicks what I did. We didn't go out ever.
What was the stuffed animal? Or just they did?
It's just a little yarn doll.
What animal?
Little yarn person. Wasn't an animal. So
I made this with you in mind.
I made it with love.
Made it with a lot of love.
So
too much love.
I never saw the fallout. Nobody ever brought it up. But I know she was opening presents in front of people. So, for all I know, that had sweeping effects on my ability to connect with people over the course of several years.
I mean, who knows? It might have been okay. Like, they might have not, like, thought of it like that. I don't know.
Oh,
You sure?
That's the thing, though. That's why this story still bothers me, because I never got that closure of, like, is it as bad as I think it was? Is this paranoia just? Did this actually happen? Did I seriously just...
It's not about the money, it's about sending a message.
Like, did I do that? What did I do? So, that is going to haunt me until I die.
Oh God! I think if I were to receive something like that, I wouldn't think that's where my mind would go. But I'm not gonna pretend like I know what high schoolers are thinking.
I would probably be a bit skeptical that you put it inside of a Kleenex box, but like, I wouldn't be like, ooh, it's a Kleenex box. He used it to wipe his pre-cum.
What I was thinking was you wrap it up in tissues and it's just like
you just fold it in there like
a cum dumpling.
You glue the tissues together. They just hold it and they're like, why does it feel like this?
It's like brittle, it like cracks.
Dude, but like, in all honesty, I think you're overthinking it. I don't know. I know you're not gonna get a resolution from it, but
it was in front of everybody I know. And I should clear. I'm like the gayest straight guy there is. All right? Like, nothing I say will ever convince my mom I don't want dick. Nothing. Ever. For some reason, everybody except the people in that friend group thought I was gay. All of them, more than clear that I was into girls, and I never made a point out of this. There were like, at least 15 people who witnessed this. Surely one of them's tugged on their dick before, like...
Yeah, intentions were pure. The execution was questionable.
And I think it was a tissue box that I dug out of the trash too, so it was all beat up and shit.
Jesus.
Handled with care, Aiden.
If you were so into like crafts, why didn't you just cut up a box and make one?
Yeah.
You see, because fuck everything, man. Like,
fuck you, man.
What do you want? I can't take it back.
Because fuck you, man. Honestly, I thought this story would like kind of spiral into Aiden finding like a dildo box and putting it in. It's like Dragon Spear, and he's like, oh wow, this is probably okay.
Wow, very specific brand you just picked out there.
It was totally made up. You can tell that I don't buy dildos for myself.
So you know what's the perfect size for holding a little trinket that's under a foot tall? A fleshlight.
You said a stuffed animal. I thought it would be like an actual stuffed animal. Like,
you ever seen the main character from Unravel?
Yes.
It was that.
Got it.
I
Yeah.
want one of those. Has a little heart-shaped head.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cute.
Yeah.
I thought it was really sweet.
What
turns out it was
Did you like
savory.
Did you ever talk to her again?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I just hope everybody forgot, because...
Was this the girl that pushed you off the cliff?
Yeah.
I want you to tell me just some more of your villainous skills. Like, you're a billionaire, you're a neglected child, abandoned by the world.
And my goal is to take all the tokens in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. My skill is that, well, it's obviously entrepreneurship. It's the ability to put my money toward anything I damn well feel like. And so with this, to be as evil as possible, I enslave a bunch of children and I put them in the mines. In the mines, they mine ferromagnetic minerals.
They mine for crypto. His Instagram was not hacked.
That's the other guy. Diversify a little bit. But so they're in the mines and they're getting me the gosh darn magnetic materials, and I refine them, and I make a factory, and it's also run by kids. Lots of child labor and violations of OSHA, and the floor is fucking covered in spikes. If they every 15 minutes, like just a small poot of mustard gas, just to get a new sweet in there.
I like the idea of like there being a statue of Aiden and like his ass is sticking out every like 5 minutes, just like he farts out mustard gas.
I have them build a giant golden bust of me that shits out mustard gas, so I can restock my provisions. And once I've got enough refined metal, I can make just gigantic swaths of magnets. And with these magnets, I then hide them in a plane. It's my personal plane. I put the magnets on airplane mode so that they don't fuck with the plane. I put a bunch of leather straps on the outside of the plane, and then each kid takes a single magnet and holds onto the outside, and we just fucking fly over to Vegas.
Okay.
And then the ones that make it with their metal, we all go into the biggest casinos, unleash our magnets, and just coins of every kind fly out of all the machines, and we just get a giant clump of coins. And when I have all their coins taken hostage, with my limitless wealth, I just win Las Vegas.
And now that you have the model for the coin, you can mass produce them.
Exactly. And I can also evade legislation because obviously.
Yeah, that's just a perk of being a billionaire.
Fuck the dollar bills, fuck the credit cards.
I just want the coins.
Just give me the coins.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
And I'm also gonna, instead of like just having a big box, I'm just gonna have a bunch more child slaves with baseball mitts just trying to catch as many coins as they can. And if they get pelted to death, it's their own fault. And while this is going, I also have them direct a film about me.
Oh, the cruelest empire of all.
And my exploits. And I get Weinstein to produce it.
Oh, you got Hollywood on your side too then.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
So yeah, propaganda, money. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all you need.
I have a theory. I'm just going to run with it, and you tell me if you think it's right or not.
Okay.
So, during one of your darker semesters, right, you were having trouble, like, waking up on time, getting out of bed, and so, we were sitting in our room, playing video games or some shit, and we were just talking about, like, how do we help you with your sleep schedule, because it was fucking you over worse and worse each day. And so, we kind of tabled that discussion, talking about other stuff, and I mentioned how, for my major, he's a fucking idiot, okay? He's a goddamn idiot. He means well, but he's just not very intelligent. He was making a lot of changes, getting a lot of negative pushback. Turned the program for 20 people to 90 overnight, which fucked a lot of shit up. Expanding the program to accommodate more students, ended up fucking the coursework on the teachers. So all of a sudden the staff was cycling out super fast, and the classes were filling up for them when we could take their classes, so there were people getting like cucked out of classes they needed like to graduate, but it filled up already, so I'm fucked.
When you described that to me, I remember it sounded so bizarrely stupid and bad.
Yeah.
It was like you questioned whether or not you were going to be able to graduate under those circumstances.
Yes, it was like actually threatening my ability to finish school.
Yeah.
Amidst all of this, he also taught some classes. These classes were the most boring shit ever. He's good at his job, not a great educator, and not a great leader. We were taking a drawing class with him, in industrial design, you gotta sketch a lot, and like it was over Zoom, so I was like watching his feed of him sketching stuff, and I was taking notes on my own notepad. He would be like, all right, follow along, and then we'd be like, okay. And so I'd start sketching, and then I would look up after copying down his first line, and he would have the whole thing fucking done. And it would be beautiful. Like, you could frame that shit. Like, he drew a beautiful fucking sports car in less than a minute. There was so much detail. He shaded the motherfucker. And I was just trying to get the first line right because, like, my hand twitches. I asked in the group, okay, listen, man, you keep losing me. Just take it slow this time. Show me how you do it. And he's like, okay. Stretch along and pay attention. I'll take it slow. And I go in for that first line again. I look up, just as beautiful. 20 seconds. It's amazing. It's a masterpiece. And he's like, was that clear? And I'm like, well, no, how'd you get to that point? And he's like, I drew it. Oh, yeah, Fuck. There you go. That was my problem, is I wasn't holding a pencil.
I drew it was a recurring phrase for a while.
Yeah,
because
I brought this up, and then we brought back Nate's sleeping thing, right? And so we were talking, and it became like, well, what if there was like something when you wake up, before you fall back asleep, something jolts you out of bed, like almost like a cold shower, but for in bed. And so we decided that there would be a Rube Goldberg-esque machine for when Nate parts his eyes, a series of mechanisms and doodads would go off, basically causing a severed penis suspended above his face overnight to drop on him unless he got out of bed quickly.
I think that is correct. This was the part of the story that we couldn't remember.
That penis has been forever attributed to that man himself, the I drew it guy, and he has since, although behind his back, been referred to lovingly by all of us in all of his recent exploits as the penis professor.
It's another penile secretion thing where you'll mention his name and then you'll be like, penis professor.
The penis professor, yeah, it's the same joke with a different coat of paint. Another one of my favorites of his, there were some hooligans in the communal space who basically smashed up a lot of sewing machines during one of the most critical sewing parts of the entire year. And so there was a line that you had to wait in to sew your shit, and there was like 2 machines for 90 people, and so I was there till like 9 p.m. and I missed a whole committee meeting and everything. It was awful. Apparently, penis professor's like, oh, I have extra machines in my office, I'll get them. So, no, yeah, he said he would get them in his possession as soon as he could. I just can't believe the fact that, like, in the fucking room across from the sewing lab, his office, there were a dozen sewing machines ready to go, but he like worked for 2 hours and then left.
What?
And then the next day, they were all set up.
The common thing I've noticed with all the stories involving him is that there'll be a major problem. He swoops in, he's like, what problem?
At any time, he could have even asked us to help bring him in and we would have been fucking elated to. God! And this last one, I asked him about homework for a class he was teaching, and I said, like, so here's my understanding of the assignment. We do a bunch of sketch work, scan it, and then we submit it as a PDF. So, right, 3 steps. Sketch it, scan it, PDF, upload. So I guess 4 steps. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, is that correct? And he responds, you're correct until the sketching part. Now, I think that speaks for itself, frankly. Oh, God. He doesn't mean it to be, but God, that's one of the most insulting things that's ever been said to me. I could be more passive-aggressive if I tried.
As far as, like, group gags go, penis professor is maybe my favorite.
Yeah, because it's so abstract and wrapped in so much nuance, it's, like, unbelievable. So many loose threads that came together in a beautiful little knot. This came to a second head when we made it our mission to make every major location our group has ever had, recreate it in Super Smash Bros. As a level, right? Mm-hmm. We recreated him in his roommate's room, Nate and Tristan. So for Tristan's half of the room, we just put a giant spinning Dark Souls sword. Tristan's the Dark Souls guy. And for Nate, we were really racking our brains. Like, what is emblematic of Nate as a person? Like, what really screams Nathaniel, if nothing else? That penis falling on your bed. If you want, you can play our copy of Smash, and his penis can kill you.
You boys, in a shitty-ass episode that I hosted previously, I brought up a little study where I had everyone describe me in one word.
Oh, Christ.
And your answers were not part of that quiz, but I'm going to bring them back. So, Carter, you said that I was orgasmic.
Yeah, I seem to recall you mentioning that.
Aiden, you said I was personable. You also...
What the fuck? You'd think based on the way we approach these episodes that it'd be opposite.
You also said farty, but you said personable first.
I did say farty afterwards.
So, why does the other person's answer suck?
Fucking, what the hell? Personable? That's stupid.
Is it?
Kind of. He's very orgasmic, though. Look at him.
I think I've been pissed at, like, every person I've ever met except you.
But why is orgasmic a bad answer?
Because everybody comes.
I don't fucking come, the hell. I have a problem.
There are only 2 kinds of men, those who jack off and liars.
No, I jack off. I just don't come.
Fuck, fine. Good for you.
Your point has been invalid anyway.
I guess orgasmic takes it because this man doesn't have a working cock.
Yeah. Got him.
Got him! I'm deformed! Woo!
Guys, I get a point because of my own disability.
This question is null. This question was shit.
I haven't seen you for like 5 days. Where have you been?
I've been in the fucking boonies.
Nice. This episode's gonna be an entire like story based off of Aiden's experience in the boonies.
I might take a while.
Yeah.
Give a title, because I have a title for mine.
Okay, my title is You're Leaking.
My title is I Got Leaked On.
Nice.
So I have a bit of a tale. This could be an ordeal.
If you think that there's a part of your story that you could, like, leave off at, maybe leave us wanting more.
I can split up into acts.
Give us a good Act 1, hook us.
Okay, Act 1, the bad part. So, I've been planning with a couple of friends of mine to go to a music festival called Shaky Knees. It's held in Georgia annually, and a bunch of bands are going to play there. And I was promised that we'd get to see all sorts of bands that I super love, like Tenacious D, Greta Van Fleet, and I signed up thinking we'd go for at least 2 of the 3 days. Uh-oh.
What happened?
We dropped out of the day that had all the bands I cared about, and we only went on the day that they cared about. So that was pretty cool. That was several months ago. Fast forwarding a bit, because I'm the only one in the group that's 21 years old, I was the only one that could get us a hotel room, which is probably why they invited me, to be honest. But...
Damn, so not only did they screw you, they were using you as well. What the hell?
It feels that way, but it doesn't. They're wonderful people. But basically, I reserved this hotel room several months in advance, and they're like, oh, you need an ID to check in. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, I got an ID. It's fine. I have a driver's license. I can drive, and everything's great. Even if, because, you know, when you turn 21, your license is supposed to expire pretty soon after that. I misplaced my license at one point during, like, sophomore year of high school, so I figured, okay, the timer on reset when I got a new license. Makes sense? Yep, that is not an issue. I have an ID. Everything's fine. Uh-oh. That's not how that works.
Oh.
They just made a copy of the ID that I lost, which meant that when they're like, you need to have a working ID, I checked it, and it had expired the day before.
Oh.
Which is just some really, really cool luck. So I call the hotel, and I'm like, hey, listen, I have an ID. It is expired, but I am clearly the person in the picture. You can just look at the picture and look at me and be like, yeah, it's the same guy. And also, I'm calling you in advance while the ID is still valid. So I'm like, yeah, okay, so this should be fine, right? And the person at the front desk is like,
do you have a passport?
Uh-oh. Basically, that wasn't gonna work either. She clearly wasn't having any of it. Fuck. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I can get a temporary license by going through the, Secretary of State office, and I can get myself a temporary license, ergo temporary ID, ergo everything's fine, right? So I go through and get this thing paid for. I get this, like, email that says temporary license withheld. Uh-oh. So now I'm on the phone with people over there, like, why the fuck does everybody in the state get a temporary license except for me? And they're like,
oh, that was just a mistake.
So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So they send me a link to this PDF. Uh-oh. There's a clause in the PDF which states that this is not a valid form of ID.
Oh.
I'm up shit's creek without a paddle, and now everybody who has a stake in this debate is not going to work with me. Uh-oh.
I didn't realize how much of a fiasco this was. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And this is before you went.
This is before I even went. So I call a friend who's going with me, and she's like,
well, okay, maybe if you, like, read through fucking documents, you can figure out something to do with it.
It's like, when you apply for an ID, you get a temporary one so you can drive while your current one is, like, in the mail system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a special paper, right? Its clause has an extra clause at the bottom, and it says, not a valid form of ID unless presented with a current ID.
Oh.
Uh-oh. My ID is expired.
Right.
Why on earth would current ID refer to the fucking one in the mail? Because that one's an ID without the fucking paper, right? So why would that paper say you need a fucking ID for it to be an ID? That's like if my fucking watch said, oh, you can get into anywhere if you have the right documentation. That's fucking stupid. Dumbest shit ever. But here was my thing with that. Because the PDF fucking voids the ID anyway. I think that they'll see reason if you tell them that. This thing ontologically proves, I think that's the right word. It ontologically proves that this is a valid ID. The ID that is defunct by the virtue of that PDF existing, it should be fine, right? Uh-oh. Now I gotta print it.
Oh.
So, they're gonna pick me up from this house. We don't have a printer. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking run from the house to campus and use a printer there, right? That I trust.
Oh. no.
And remember, my story was called, what was it called? It was called,
It was called I Got Leaked On or something like that.
Yeah, huge fucking rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it's just a little rain. How bad could it be? There will be more uh-ohs in the future. So I'm running to the armory, fucking sopping wet. I spent so much time on my hair. The hair gel is like water soluble, right? So it's melting off, getting in my eyes and causing them to sting. My glasses are all fucking covered in water, so I can't see. I take off my coat and I put over my backpack to keep all my shit dry, which kind of worked. We'll get to that. But I get to the armory, and at this point, the laptop case has like water creeping in. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going back out there. That's not fucking happening. And I go to print it. Printer out of ink.
Boy.
So I have to go to people and be like, where's the fucking ink?
Well, it's all end of semester, so I don't know if we'll have any. It should be over here, but it's the end. Like, we might be out.
And it's like, fuck you.
I guess you're shit out of luck.
So I run back over to the printing station and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Color printer. And so I print that bitch in color. It was still a black and white document. But I printed it in color, and I'm like, all right, I'm at the building, pick me the fuck up. Rain's harder than ever. That will have fallout. We'll get to that. All my shit's sopping wet. I'm cold. Everything sucks. And I get to the car. End of Act 1.
What the fuck?
That's Act 1.
Why do you need your ID for a hotel? That doesn't make sense. When we got a hotel during spring break, I did not need to show my ID at all.
I was doing my, like, Reservoir Dog style, like, rehearsing my lines before I got there, too. This is a valid document. You know, if you don't believe that I'm me, when the real Aiden shows up, you give him a big fat kiss on the ass. Knowing I had to fight tooth and nail to make them accept that I was who I was, because they were not helpful in the before times. But yeah, I made sure to call everyone and be like, hey, listen, they might turn to the way at the door after paying $200 for this fucking place. Bring sleep stuff.
Anyway, Aiden, what is part 2 of the story? This is going to be a very long podcast episode. I don't care.
We're at half an hour now, actually.
This is fine. I'm okay with, like, staying up as late as I want.
As the editor, I have reservations, but... Act 2, the badder part.
No! How?
Okay, so, we on the road, boys. We're heading the 13 hours from base camp all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. That's a lot of distance.
Oh yeah, I'm aware.
So...
What'd you do on your spare time, Aiden?
Well, my first order was to see if everything of mine was okay, because of all the rainwater, right?
Uh-huh.
And... So...
That's a step up from uh-oh.
That is a step up from
So, I'm like, you know, I haven't eaten much today. I'll check my snacks. Uh-oh. So, apparently, Mike and Ike's are water soluble.
Oh no. Oh no.
So...
Just a giant glob of Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, I had 3 boxes of Mike and Ike's. All 3 were waterlogged to fucking back. So the entire front pocket of my bag was completely destroyed.
Oh no.
Like, I opened it, it was the smell of a smorgasbord of every artificial flavor under the sun. There's like swollen Mike and Ike stuck to the inside of the zipper. And like, I had a sketch pad with me. Every page was a fucking rainbow. It was a goddamn nightmare. So that was ungood. So all I had that was left were the things that were like perma-sealed in bags. And I happened to bring a shitload of Takis. That'll be an uh-oh later. All my shit is sticky, all my clothes are wet, and I'm in the car, which for everybody else is like 80 degrees and they have the air blasting. I'm frigid. And I'm trying to fall asleep in the back seat, and I can't because I'm cold, and I'm sad, and everything sucks ass. This is more or less the marinating phase where I'm like, this is gonna be a rough fucking couple of days. Just the whole time, paranoid and unable to fall asleep because what if the hotel doesn't accept my document? Because it's riding on this contrivance that by current license, it means my expired license. I could tell by the way this person's voice was on the phone that she was a black woman.
Okay.
She just had that kind of voice. I was worried about it because, you know, she'd already denied me once.
If the hotel clerk fucking catches that, they're just the biggest Karen. Oh, you also gotta think it's probably not the same person here. Unless it is.
Okay, so after 13 hours, we get to Atlanta, all go to a McDonald's, and we start eating, and everybody's looking at me, and they're all mad. They're giving me these death stares, and I'm like, oh no, what have I fucked up in some major way? So we're on the way to an aquarium to spend the afternoon there, but you know, my shoes have been wet all fucking day and night. I'm gonna get trench foot unless I take this shoe off. And so I like start to eke the shoe off, and I am hit with the most rancid rot smell ever.
I mean, yeah, if you're there for 14 hours.
I have realized at this point I am nose blind to whatever odor I am emanating. And it is a bad time. Now I'm like, they better get us a hotel, because I need to shower immediately. So we get to the hotel after this aquarium visit, which is actually quite nice. That was a nice visit. But I go to the front desk, and there are 2 front desks, but both desks were fronted by black women who fit the bill of the people who rejected me already. And so I was like, oh, they said no once, and I come with this document I just magically found less than 36 hours ago. They're gonna be fucking upset.
It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, so
flip a coin.
You go to the one that I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not her. And then she's like,
okay, well, we'll talk to people if we can get this worked out. But I gotta go on break, so you go talk to her.
And so I'm like, oh, so now I have to talk to one I didn't want to fucking talk to. Thankfully, my luck finally turned around, and they gave us a room. Which was like the first good thing to happen on this whole trip.
The first event not accompanied by uh-oh.
Yeah. Grab all my, like, still damp shit, and we haul ass into the room, and I'm like, I cannot wait to shower and just get all this gunk off and out of me. And so I've done that, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab my change of clothes, and we're gonna just fucking get all washed up. Uh-oh. Not only are my clothes part of the victims of this dampening party, but I discover that there is a hole in the front pocket of my backpack, and the Mike and Ike's invaded.
No.
And they're threaded in all of my spare clothes, and nothing I can do will get them out. Those shirts are ruined.
Oh no.
What the fuck?
They were everywhere. The shirts were stained all different colors. It was so fucked up. Even the underwear was fucking destroyed. And I'm like, somehow, despite everything, these are a downgrade. So I just marinated in it.
Oh.
The laundry machines were busted. Public ones were out. I got in the corner of the room where nobody could smell or see me, and I wrote an essay for school all day that day, and then I fell asleep in a chair. All the other people on the trip were girls. I feel like it'd be weird to be like, hey, you got a robe in there for me. So I decided
Don't mind me, I'm going underneath the covers.
I decided to sleep in a chair. The chair was in front of the AC unit. This AC unit is very aggressive. You can't turn it off. Like, there's a thermostat on the wall, but not for the AC unit. So it was just like waking me up every 15 minutes with a cold blast of air. And my only blanket was the wet flannel.
You couldn't move the chair at all?
I think it was bolted to the floor. I couldn't get it to move.
Oh, wow.
How much was the hotel room?
$200 for four people.
Really?
For one night.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it is Atlanta, Georgia, though.
Well, here's the thing, though. When I booked the hotel room, they're like, okay, can I see your credit card? And I'm like, I prepaid for this. Oh, yeah, this is for, like, if you choose to use, like, the confectionaries in the room. Because they switched computers, right? Because the one went on break, went to the other desk, and they had not put in that I already paid in advance.
Oh.
So I was on the phone with the bank this morning, getting that $200 taken off my card, which is also why when I went to go pay for parking on concert day, my card bounced, because there was $5 left on it.
Jesus.
So I had to go out and tear into my savings to pay for parking. Oh, I forgot about an uh-oh. Remember how I said that the Takis were a problem?
Oh, yeah.
In addition to that night of me being woken up by the air thing, I also had flamey, steamy poos all night. Because all that was in my body was Takis.
Oh, God, man. If I didn't already know that you were just, like, a being of misfortune, I would have called you out for bullshitting, like, 10 minutes ago. This is all, like, how the fuck did all of this happen in the same day?
Yeah, so I smell like a dog's rectum. I haven't slept in, like, 48 hours. And nobody wants to talk to me. The only reason why they brought me is because they needed someone to pay for the hotel, which they made me do twice, and I almost couldn't even do that. Every contribution of mine was a fucking waste. End of Act 2. Act 1 was the bad part. Act 2 was the badder part.
Act 3 was the ugly part.
Oh, that would have been funny. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna go with. When
I will retroactively do that. Act 1 is the good, Act 2 is the bad, Act 3 is the ugly.
What? You cannot retcon Act 1 into the good part.
It's my fucking story. Lick my balls.
Dude, that's so mean.
All right, I'll get under the table. You can just keep going.
Please don't mess with me.
Don't.
Virtually no sleep. I got little winks in, but nothing substantial.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, nobody else is awake. Let me see what I can salvage from this. Let me see if I can, like, maybe make myself presentable. Some way I can, like, just turn this shit around. I go in the bathroom with my bag and I just unload everything on the floor. And I'm like, okay, what can I use? What is not Mike and Iked? And the answer to that question is pretty much nothing. My laptop is fine.
Woo.
My 3DS is fine. I managed to actually play most of Great Cave Offensive in the car.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Anyway, so I'm gonna Barbie this shit. I'm gonna mix and match all the options. I'm gonna try all the exercises and see what fits. And I was doing this very empirical sniff test of, like, how ass do I smell with these various combinations. Thankfully, I was able to scrounge up one pair of dry socks. And the best smelling arrangement, which I could scrounge together, was a shirt that I managed to kind of dry off and, like, un-Mike and Ike a little bit.
That's good.
The shorts I had been wearing the whole time, and another pair of shorts that also existed. And so basically my thought was, like, for the good of humanity, I have to go commando. It's the only way.
Did you not try to, like, go to the grocery store? Or...
At the time, it seemed like the right choice, and also I figured the fewer variables, the better.
Yeah.
So we go to this concert. I insisted that we see the only band on that day card that I had heard of before. I played them for you today, actually. Live, which is the worst name you could have given a band ever because the word live appears so much in music. It's, like, impossible to find if you look them up.
A minor oversight.
But I was like, it's the only band I know. I'm sick of being told no. We're fucking seeing Live. I don't care. Because they were fucking awesome in the 90s. And so there's multiple stages at this concert venue.
Yeah.
That necessitated us, like, not going to the main one until a little bit later. I figured, like, okay, we'll just go to the show, whatever. They, like, start playing, and within 5 seconds, I look over at them, and they're like, And I'm like, give it a check. After that first song was over, I was also like, like... Man, they sounded really good in studio and 30 years ago. Jesus Christ, that band did not age well. But
sad.
Clearly no choice I make is right. Let's just go over to the other venue. And they're like,
No, you've been through hell. Fuck, we'll do this one thing for you.
And I'm like, no, everything I've done is wrong. At least if you're the one that chooses, then it won't be my fault this time when something bad happens. And they're like,
what are the odds?
Where did you go?
I promised them, like, okay, if they play I Alone, we leave immediately. I don't even care. And they're like,
okay, fine, we accept those terms.
Uh-oh. So we sat at this show through a good 10 songs, if you can even call them that. And they finally played I Alone, almost when the set was over. They butchered it to ribbons. Before they even played it, the guy was like, all right, we should be warmed up enough now for this one.
Oh, no.
With just to add insult to injury, nobody was into it. Half the crowd was leaving during the show because it was so bad.
Oh, wow.
I was like, guys, we can go. And they're like,
No, we're staying because it's what you wanted.
And after they play I Alone, we immediately hightail it. And we catch up with everyone else who was also at the Live show, who had left earlier, as they should have. And they're all at the main stage. And there is no hope in hell we're getting close to the front. And it's my fault. So we managed to push and shove our way through most of the crowd. And by the way, my balls are a fucking swamp at this point.
Oh yes, let's not forget that Ian is commando throughout the entire time.
Yeah, I smell like death. I don't want to describe it in great detail, but
Kind of hot.
Like, it's just a Basically, I'm standing the whole time like a soldier at attention, trying to keep my balls firmly between my thighs to keep the smell in the whole day. And because you're in a crowd of people, you're constantly getting bumped into and knocked off balance.
Mosh pit.
Just a bad time all around. And thankfully, thankfully, we saw Hosier.
Oh, nice.
That show was fucking amazing.
Good.
That made the whole thing worth it. One of the best performers I've ever seen live. They were right. I was blown the fuck away. Like, if you thought he was good in studio, he brings out electric guitars and backup vocalists. Music is a lot harder, a lot louder, and a lot angrier. And it's all the better for it.
And that was with Sweaty Balls.
Yeah, that was with Sweaty Balls.
That was with Sweaty Balls.
And thankfully, in the gutters between songs, and by the way, it's like 85 degrees out there, and we're out there standing for a good about 10 hours.
Yeah.
My balls are very upset.
Ladies, my balls are very upset right now. Can we leave?
Yeah.
We gave him a good scrubbing.
And the worst part of the whole thing, and you guys already know about this.
Do I?
Is a couple of weeks ago we were all in the car, all three of us, going to the grocery store, and we have this like communal playlist, right? And a song comes on the playlist, and within the first chord, I'm like, oh, fuck this song. This song sucks cock. And this is way before any of this. But Carter's like, what's wrong with this song? And Nate's like, well, it's so early. And then it gets to the chord, and he's also like, oh yeah, fuck this song. This song sucks ass.
What song was it? I don't even remember this at all.
The song is called Ho Hey.
Oh, yeah.
It's by the Lumineers. Guess who found out that fact when the Lumineers started playing it?
Oh my god. Man, now I want to go there. Lumineers are so good.
Fuck you.
Okay,
Shut up.
honestly,
Lumineers are not bad.
that was a great show.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. The lead singer's voice.
Yeah, his voice is really good.
It aged like fine wine.
The first album, I understand that you don't like that, but when you go to the future albums, they get so much better.
I do not mean to knock the Lumineers, but the fact that you sprung into this tangent because of Ho Hey makes me
unimaginably angry.
I want to strangle you right now.
Yeah, that song is like one of the worst songs ever. However, I didn't mind it live.
Was other people singing it too?
Oh yeah, everybody sang it.
Oh yeah, duh. Yeah. If you did it,
I fucking sang it.
Yeah.
But like,
they were like, ho, hey.
Just to end the night with that final kick in my sweaty, greasy, stanky, fucking damn bass balls was just poetic perfection.
Just special.
Mm-hmm.
Some poetic perfection.
The rest of it's nothing too special. We get back in the car after this and drive all the way back home, and I have a new problem, shocker, because there's one final uh-oh about what the floodwater destroyed, and that was, when I got to the hotel room, I'd noticed that it had rusted out my razor.
Oh.
And I had not shaved at that point in 5 days. And I have extremely pissy boy skin, so by day 3 I was already scratching like I was a meth addict on a stint.
Oh no.
So for that entire 5-hour car ride, I had to do Batman neck. Remember when I got back and you were like, hey, and I was like,
yeah, you looked really upset. I was like, all right, you need to
I ran right to the bathroom and shaved.
Okay,
that was the first thing I did, but it was 13 hours of like Infinity War when Doctor Strange is like in that machine and there's needles going in from all angles. That was my face.
Yeah, when you came in, I was, oh, that trip was bad, but I didn't know that it was that bad.
Yes.
You did not look okay, and I was like, all right, I don't want to mess with it.
I sometimes forget that I am a guy who is pretty flimsy looking, traveling with 3 girls.
Yeah.
And wearing, you've seen my socks, they're all fucking rainbows.
Oh.
In the South.
Yeah, in the South.
Oh.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I thought it was a cultural thing. I was like, I didn't think it was a smell. Because I knew that, like, in the South, they're very, very judgmental about that type of thing.
I caught so many dirty looks from people I knew and didn't.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was a public menace, all because of a little fucking rainwater. So, that was my vacation. Hope you all enjoyed my little diatribe. Act 4!
Act 4.
Walking naked and I tripped and fell on a hot poker and my balls got scorched.
No wonder why people were looking at me weird.
That's a perfect outro.
Okay, great. I'll fade out to that. Oh wow, didn't see you there. Sorry. Hey. Ow!
Hi Aiden, what are you doing here?
Oh, nothing. Just subscribing to Spicy Chicken Sammich on every platform it's available on.
What? I thought it was only on YouTube.
No, it's on so many platforms. Spotify, Google, Apple, Podcast, and many more.
What about Google Plus?
No.
No!
Hi Nate, how are you doing?
Oh my god, what's up?
Did you know there's a new episode every other week?
What?
I know!
Holy fuck!
I only date girls who are subscribed on YouTube and Spotify. I can probably cut that into something.
Okay.